as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your home for political play-by-play, the Owen Report, live on this Friday, June 26, 2026. You know, I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked after this week, and that's it. June is over. Just like that, pretty much June is gone. How did that happen? We're more than halfway through 2026. When did that happen? All right, guys, we're going to do the job today. I've actually got news. I've got so much news, and we're going to be so efficient. This is going to be the most efficient news show you've seen in a long time. The amount of news that we're going to cover today in less than 3 hours is going to be record-setting. You're going to be talking about it for the rest of your lives, how much news we're going to cover today, kind of making up for yesterday. It's just we have so much fun. We have so much fun on the phone lines, don't we? We have so much fun on the phone lines with you guys. It's hard not to want to do that every day. But we will cover the news. Now, there's all kinds of developments as far as the multi-front wars are concerned. And you have to re-examine it as there's a development all over right now. There's a development in Russia, development with Lebanon, development with Iran and Israel. So there's all kinds of developments happening today. And you kind of pull back. We're all kind of stuck and focused on the moment right now and the dramatics of the foreign relations with Israel that we kind of forget. It's like you step back and you remember, it's like, yeah, this is all part of a globalist plan. And I think when we re-examine the promises made by Trump and the promises broken by Trump, we look at the direct promises like no new wars and gas prices coming down, mass deportations. It's like these are the direct checklist promises. But if you talk about general direction, general attitude, it was supposed to be nationalism versus globalism. And I don't know how you can argue that this administration is not globalist. And that's what this whole thing is. That's what everything in the Middle East is. That's what everything in Russia is. That's what everything in the Far East is. Iran, you name it. That's what it all is. It's all a globalist plan to centralize power. And there's each little faction regionally inside of this system where they're trying to create a unison of all these different factions. And there's some obstacles right now. Some of the obstacles they've been able to topple, mostly with the United States military and the United States dollar. Some of them have capitulated. And now you kind of see the last remaining holdouts. And the realization for us was, if globalism is the agenda and the United States of America, its people are really essentially the workers doing it. I mean, we're the ones funding it. Our military is the one knocking down the obstacles. And the realization was, this globalist system with the American taxpayers and the American military as the workhorses, this isn't working for us. We want our country back. We want our future back. We want American blood and treasure invested for future Americans, not for globalism. And so really, that's the ultimate betrayal. And it's just, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's being said. And look, it looks great. This Washington, D.C. 250 fair. It looks great. It looks fun. I've seen some of the stuff they have set up. A lot of people are going all in, great American companies, states, what have you. That's fine. Go out and enjoy it. But it's just, I can't get excited about anything from this administration anymore. And it's past the point now of like hoping or struggling. It's the acceptance that this is what it is. That's the period of time that we're in right now. So I'm kind of drawing back from the direct checklist promises and saying this is globalism. We are in a globalism system again under Trump. And really, that's the biggest betrayal. You can talk about the wars and the Maha stuff and everything else. These are checklist things that you can just point on a list and say, yeah, okay. But this was supposed to be nationalism versus globalism. And so many people fall for the shiny object. So many people fall for the shiny object. They fall for the latest news cycle. I mean, you're literally in idiocracy, but Brando is what plants crave. And so it's like if Trump says the war is over, they're like, but the war is over. But it's what plants crave. So it's like you're fully in idiocracy. You're not really getting to the direction of nationalism. You're going right back to globalism. And you know what's so frustrating? And I think that this is what's really, quite frankly, kind of allowed me to let go. I'm letting go of myself, guys. I'm going to be 300 pounds and it's going to be, maybe the haters are right. Maybe some more adjustments to the image is what's necessary here. No, I think that the realization we're having is the conversation now is so, it's not even that it's directionless. It's so low IQ. It's what plants crave. It's Brando. It's got electrolytes. That's what plants crave. And this is who you're talking to now. It's like, this is who you're talking to in the American political discourse. It's like, oh, you speak like a fag. Brando's got electrolytes. This is what plants crave. And you're like, what in the hell happened here? But they don't want to listen. They don't want to look at the plant growing in the field. And so here you are trying to make the most of it. So that's what we're doing. But we're going to get back to work today. I've got so much news, the geopolitical news, some big Supreme Court decisions, some Maha news, some health news. What else do we have here? Some data center news, some World Cup news. I'm going to tell you what to think about last night's game. Don't freak out too much. Don't freak out too much, guys. I'll tell you what really happened last night. And then, depending if we have enough time, somebody just posted a political compass test. It's the best one I've ever seen. We may just do that live on air. This just went live yesterday, the political compass test, so it hasn't really caught on yet. So we may do that today, too, if we have some time at the end of the show. So all of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report, brought to you by Patriot Protect. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the year 2026, almost 2027 soon, but that's just more of a time flying by issue. The point is, there's all kinds of security breaches every day. In fact, when I'm listening to the headlines, it's almost every other day, sometimes every day, I hear about some new security breach, data leak, people's private information getting out there. You know what ends up happening? They sell it online, and then you get harassed. Just get rid of the threat by going to patriot-protect.com/Owen. That's all you got to do. Go to patriot-protect.com/Owen and do what I did. Hire Patriot Protect to stop your private information from being bought and sold online. That's what they do. They wipe all your private information off the internet, and then they monitor 24/7 to make sure it doesn't pop up again. And if it does, they get rid of it. That's what they do. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. And for my listening audience, you use promo code Owen and you get 15% off any other plans. They have multiple plans, by the way. So you can go see which plan works best for you, your family, your business. But it's 15% off any of their plans with coupon code Owen at checkout. That's patriot-protect.com/Owen.
On on the cutting edge of news and analysis. The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys. I'm curious. I know DMT would love to get in on this discussion. He's probably too busy today. I gave him I gave him a handful of tasks before we went live today, so he might be too busy to pop in. I'm sure he would love to chime in on this because we were actually talking about this last night. But it's trying to comprehend, it's trying to explain how it is people are feeling dealing with the current political status. And I think there's two things happening right now that give us an opportunity to explain this phenomenon. You have the president and the Republicans bashing communism for the last 48 hours. It's like, okay, hey, I'm right there with you, man. I've been bashing communism for 20 years. So I'm all on board. But it's like, it's empty. It's hollow. It's fake. It's not legitimate. Sure. Right-wingers are anti-communist. Of course. And we love to get ourselves riled up talking about how much we despise communism. We like to pump each other up and bash our shields and our swords together and rattle to remind everybody that this isn't a communist country. We love doing it. And good for us, part of our culture, part of our identity. The problem is you're $40 trillion in debt. You pay 33% of the money you make in taxes, including on stuff you've already paid taxes on, stuff that you already own, money that's already yours. So you already live in a socialist country. You know what I mean? And so it's just fake. It's like somebody is about to throw a bowling ball at you, except it's like a pool ball. It's like one of those inflatable, floaty pool balls. It's like, look, it's a bowling ball. I'm going to bash you over the head with it. But it's actually just an inflatable kid's toy. It's like, we're anti-socialist. We're never going to be a socialist country. It's like, we already are a socialist country. So, hey, I'm with you. Screw the commies. Down with the commies. We're $40 trillion in debt. You're taxed at a 33% rate. You're living in a socialist country, but you're not getting any of the benefits. And that's the big irony. So it's worse than socialism. It's theft. It's a kleptocratic government. So it's the clown world, baby. It's the clown world. Oh, we're not socialists. We're beating socialists. Down with the You're living in a socialist country with none of the benefits. Stop it. Stop it. This is laughable. This is hilarious. It's like, man, we were a serious movement for a minute there, And I'm all for the celebration. I'm all for the 250 celebration. I'm in. I'm buying in. Fine. Whatever. Let's do it. Let's keep patriotism alive. We're totally betrayed by the administration. It's totally corrupt. Whatever. Okay. It's another administration in the United States of America. All right. Here we go. All right. Churn and burn, baby. So I'm cool. Trump's going to do 10 campaign speeches because nobody wants to perform at the event now. And all right. It's all good. But let's just stop kidding ourselves. And I can't tell if it's like, okay, it's okay to do this if we actually got the stuff done we needed to get done. Like, they stole an election. People are held accountable. They forced a killer injection and people are held accountable. people that had political persecutions and political prisoners are held accountable. You know, that type stuff. You know, we were talking about getting all the poison out of the food and the water. It's like, maybe the people that did that should be held accountable. It's like, if we did all of that, and now Trump's talking about the biggest state fair ever and the biggest firework display ever and all this stuff, it's like, all right, hoorah, man. That kick ass. We earned this. We earned this. But it's all fluff. It's all fluff. And I can't believe I have to sit here and deal with the Brondo's got what plants crave people. I can't even believe I have to sit here and deal with these people. It's like, what do you think is going on here? You're back in the Middle East. Like, wait, hello? Hello? Is anybody home? You're back in the Middle East. Are you getting it yet? It's like, good God. So here we are. Here we are. But let's go to the Trump announcement. If you're in D.C., you know what? If you're near D.C., probably head that way. I think you'll have a good time. I think you'll have a good time. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the entertainment is concerned. I think the star of the show has already performed, Alexis Wilkins. I think that's it. From there, I don't know who follows that. I think Vanilla Ice might be doing a performance. There's some people that are going to be doing some performances, so I don't know. But Trump says the 4th of July air show over Washington, D.C., our great capital, will be the biggest by far in the history of the United States. Should I be reading this in his voice? Hundreds of planes of different sizes, types, shapes, and speeds will be on display. It goes from 1:15 p.m. in the afternoon until 11:30 in the evening. Wow, what a show. You think I'll be able to stay up? I will be speaking at approximately 9 p.m., preceding the fireworks, which again, like the air show, will be approximately 10 times larger than any fireworks in the history of our country. 10 times. Do the math. We did 10 times. So if you like airplanes and fireworks and President Trump, be there. All right. No, it'll probably be great. 10 times bigger than anything ever before. No, it'll probably be great. And I'm seeing some of the booths in D.C. I'm seeing some of the fanfare, some of the setup that they have in D.C. Looks great. Looks great. Take the family. Probably be a great time. Good family fun, patriotism, and pride of country for all. So, whatever. No point in hating on it anymore. Just enjoy it, I'd say, if you're in the area. Now, ironically enough, we've also got some 250 themed stuff happening here too. Is that happening in your area? We got a lot of 250 themed stuff happening here in Austin, Texas. Billboards are up. People are like putting signs up and down the highways. So you're starting to get a little bit of the theme here. I don't know if this is just Austin, because in Charlotte, North Carolina, you will not apparently be getting any of this. This is on their. This is Charlotte, North Carolina. This is on their official letterhead, by the way. Their official 250 letterhead. And Matt Van Swole, who is from North Carolina, I don't know if he's still there. He was affected by the flooding. But I guess he saw this. The city of Charlotte, North Carolina will not be doing its classic baseball game on July 4th. Oh, we're canceling the baseball game. You dirty commies. Canceling the baseball game on July 4th? You ought to be beaten. So they're canceling the baseball game on July 4th, and instead they will have African Arts Movement Performance, and we're not talking about basketball, Brazilian dance group, and we're not talking about soccer, Son Bacha Latin performance, your guess is as good as mine, and spoken word poetry. And they send this notification out on their official 250th letterhead, letting you know that we're canceling the baseball game. Send in the Marines. Send in the Marines. Send in the troops, send in the National Guard, send them in and arrest them. Arrest the commies. Arrest the dirty commies that are canceling the baseball game for an African arts movement performance on July 4th. This is not satire either. I want them arrested. There should be riots. There should be uprisings. There should be outrage. But if you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, enjoy your 4th of July. In fact, they're basically canceling the 4th of July is what they're trying to do. Oh, and Gavin Newsom, remember, they tried this in 2020. That's kind of when this tradition started. They tried to cancel the 4th of July in 2020 because of the COVID pandemic, scamdemic. And they said, we're not going to be doing any 4th of July parties and we're not going to be doing any fireworks. And then if you remember, people were sending up their drones and filming all around Los Angeles and other areas of California. And it was just fireworks everywhere all night. It was a really cool thing. That's the spirit of the country. Well, Newsom is at it again. He's like, I love fireworks just as much as anybody, but we just can't have them. Or was it, I think it was Spencer Cox, too, that was doing this. I think there's multiple states that are trying to cancel the fireworks. Let me see. I think Spencer Cox was saying so, too. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, Governor Spencer Cox orders firework restrictions ahead of 4th of July. He's a Republican, too. So Democrats and Republicans, no fireworks on the 4th of July. They both agree. Well, they don't want you starting any wildfires, so can't do that. But all right. All right. If you are in D.C., though, I think, or if you're anywhere near D.C., I think it's probably worth checking out the 250 fair they have going on. Looks like they got some cool stuff there. So, yeah, you just got to bite your tongue. It's kind of like you go see one of your favorite bands perform, and the lead singer has some, liberal garbage thing to say. You're just like, It's like, okay, all right, back to the music. It's like, all right. It's kind of like that right now with the administration. It's like, oh, we're stopping wars. We're getting peace deals. And I was like, okay, all right. Can we get to the fireworks? Thank you. Okay. So they're attacking the communists now. I think I've already addressed this with Trump attacking the communists. And look, there's a big in unison message on the right wing in the last 24 hours to attack communists and socialists because of the Democrat victories, the socialist victories across the country. And Trump is, he's all gong-ho about this now. He said he was born for this. It's like, all right. So, hey, we all despise communism. It's the antithesis of the United States and the free market. It's the antithesis of freedom and independence and self-government. It leads to communism. So we're all standing up. We're all standing up against socialism. All right, hoorah. Clash your swords and your shields, mighty America. We're standing up against communism, loud and proud. Yeah, all right. And, of course, you are already in a socialist country. That's the big joke. That's the big gag. It's all fake. It's all a big act. And actually, you're in a worse than a socialist country because the socialist programs, most of these programs don't even benefit you. Most of the money that they take from your paycheck, sales tax, property tax, you name it, most of that money goes to stuff that doesn't even benefit you. It benefits foreigners and foreign countries and foreign interests and special interests. You already live in a communist country. Your country is $40 trillion in debt. Your people are all in record debt. And you pay 33% of the money you make in taxes. You already live in the socialist country. You just barely benefit from it. You're just not even benefiting from it. You don't even get health care. You don't even get cheap health care. You don't even get efficient construction and road projects. But you are back in the Middle East. MAGA, baby. So I'm just not buying it. It's like, hey, I'm as anti-socialist as anybody. I'm as anti-communist as anybody. I'm just a realist about it. Some of us are just serious about it. Others just like to saber rattle and act tough when they're pretending to be a part of a political movement. So that's fun. And I always see this right before election seasons. We see this every time. And then nobody ever does it. Ron DeSantis, he's responding to a graph here. From Florida to Texas to Indiana, Americans are pushing back as property taxes rise faster than incomes and inflation. And you see here, taxes have gone up 243%, inflation 90%, population 14%. And so basically you're getting gouged, you're getting ripped off. So DeSantis responds here. Good graph that shows property tax revenue taken from homeowners rising much higher than increases in population and inflation. This is nationwide. The effect in Florida is even more dramatic. Time for a taxpayer revolt. Time for a taxpayer revolt. Every election cycle, and DeSantis is like the leading candidate of this, and I'm cheering for you, Ron. I'm cheering for you to do it. And if you have presidential aspirations, as you have expressed in the past, if you cut property taxes for the state of Florida, and then you ran on that campaign in 2028, you could win. This is, again, I'm giving out millions of dollars of campaign advice here. I mean, it's ridiculous. I should be getting a tax break here for this charitable contribution to Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign 2028. Ron, you keep talking about cutting taxes. Actually do it. Actually do it. And then run on cutting taxes, and you could actually win. Just an idea. And doesn't it make so much sense as we hear all the Republicans talking about, I'm anti-socialist. Well, how do you take the power away from the socialists? You cut the taxes. You get rid of their mechanism of taking your money. You cut the taxes. So, hey, if we're serious about this, I'd love to get on board. If we're serious about defeating socialists, I'm on board. Let's go. Cut the damn taxes. Cut the damn taxes. End welfare. Bing, 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 bing. So I just don't want to hear from anybody about how we're going to stop socialism. If you're not going to cut taxes and you're not going to end the welfare state, then you're not serious. Shut up. Just stop it. You're just a liar. You're just a phony. You're just another fake politician. And I'm done. I'm done with the sheeple, man. And that's what it is. MAGA used to be like the most informed, patriotic, serious movement that we've seen in American history, at least modern American history. It's like this was a serious movement. We had seriously informed people that understood the issues and could address the issues in a very coherent way. And now it's just pure slop. It's just Brondo. It's what the plants crave. So, hey, you guys are serious about anything? If the Republicans are serious about anything, maybe stopping socialism, maybe that will be the one thing, but they're not. They're not. Oh, we're against socialism. Okay, cut the taxes and end the welfare state. Do it or shut up. In fact, how about this then? Any Republican that is not going to campaign on cutting taxes and ending the welfare state, you're a socialist. So now you have the Republican Socialists of America and the Democrat Socialists of America. That's what you have now. You have the Republican Socialist Party and you have the Democrat Socialist Party. And really, it's just an argument over what are they going to spend your money on? Hey, what do the Republicans love spending money on, guys? Anybody want to take a guess? And so this is the big swing and miss right now. And this is why the MAGA movement is so, I don't want to be mean today, but let's just say befuddled. You guys have no clue the perception right now. The Republican socialists want to take your money and give it to foreign interests. The Democrat socialists want to take your money and give it to poor people in America. That's basically the two parties right now. And there might be some policy differences between the two, but for the most part, they both move in unison. They both move in the same direction. And now it seems like the only thing you're really voting on is, where are the socialists going to spend your money? Are they going to spend it in the Middle East, or are they going to spend it on poor people here? That's really all you're voting on. And now that that's the perception, many people that have voted Republican their entire lives, many people that identify as conservatives or right-wingers, they're going to go vote Democrat just because they don't want their money spent overseas, and that's it. And it has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with politics. It's just, this is now the perception of the American voter. The Republican socialists spend my money overseas, and the Democrat socialists spend my money on poor people here. What are you going to do? Those are your two options. So from now on, all Republicans are socialists. So until a Republican actually cuts taxes and ends the welfare state, you're all socialists too. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear it. Now, we played, or I guess we showed, I think we did play a clip of it too, but I showed a statement I made earlier this week, basically predicting exactly what would happen in New York with Mamdani. We found another one here from last year, literally a calendar year ago. Make no mistake about it, Mamdani's win in New York City tonight is the first sign of Israel fatigue reaching the voting booth. Yes, they will literally vote for a foreign-born socialist as long as he doesn't need knee for Israel, as Cuomo did. This will reach 2026 midterms and 2028 presidential.
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
And you should see the comments in that one. I reposted that last night, so you don't have to, it's pretty easy to find on my X account. Guys, the comments, the people in the comments are hilarious. The people in the comments that were disagreeing and saying all this other stuff. It's like, oh, that's funny, isn't it? That's just funny. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the news. Let's get into the news here. So you may have picked up on this, and I got a lot of incoming messages because people think it's the real deal today. Israel to withdraw from 2 areas in Lebanon under newly signed agreement. Now here you see the delegation brokering this deal. It's kind of an MOU in sorts, and Rubio is apparently he was the captain here. Rubio is the one getting credit for brokering this agreement. Israel will withdraw from 2 areas in southern Lebanon, transferring sites to the Lebanese military, according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, under a newly signed agreement after 4 days of talks in Washington. The negotiations led to a trilateral deal between Israel, Lebanon, and the U.S. that will enable future agreement in an effort to reach a broader peace agreement, according to a senior Israeli official. All right. So this is a bunch of smoke and mirrors. This is a bunch of smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what's actually going on here. Now, time will only tell as far as what Israel's true intention here is. We all know what their plan overall is, and this is what they've been executing since October 7th. In fact, October 7th was the catalyst of this whole thing. October 7th was the first domino to fall. By the way, we have some news on that coming up too. It was totally an inside job even. It was totally a stand down and an inside job. So October 7th is now totally confirmed as a stand down and an inside job. But we'll get to that in a second. The reason why they're doing this now is because Israel sees how unpopular they are around the world, but more importantly, they see how unpopular they are in the United States of America. And they see how their aggression in Lebanon is putting Trump into an impossible position to do what they want him to do. I mean, that's really what it is. As long as Israel is doing the death and destruction in Lebanon, Trump is in an impossible position to do Israel's bidding against Iran. So Israel is now like, okay, we'll pull back. Now, the big irony of this is, it's not even irony, it's actually disgusting. The big sickness is Israel just went in there and engaged in a month-long display of death and destruction, and they're just going to get away with it. So they already did their military-style demolition. They're taking that land. The only question is when and how. The only reason Israel is pulling back right now is because it's in the way of their agenda in Iran, and they know that it's too much and the world is watching. So they just went in there and basically nuked southern Lebanon, and now they're like, all right, fine. We'll walk away for a minute. Give me a break. Don't be so naive. Don't be so naive. Now, there's another angle here. Again, the when and how Israel goes back in is the only question. But this is the other agenda. This whole thing was about building up Marco Rubio for 2028. And when you look at it through that lens, you understand, well, then maybe this is them making an agreement with Rubio so that Rubio can get a bunch of credit for a bunch of peace deals. And then in 2028, Marco Rubio runs for president. The Israeli lobby backs him. If he wins, Marco Rubio will be hands off and he will let Israel do whatever the hell it wants, wherever it wants, or he'll use the U.S. military as Israel's military, and they'll go in and do whatever they want. So that's what I see going on here. At this point, Lebanon is becoming an issue even for Israel. So pulling back for them is a strategic victory. You've seen all the attacks on Vance. So there's clearly an agenda right now to destroy J.D. Vance's future presidential chances. Rubio is the guy that the foreign lobby wants. So now they get to do this whole dog and pony show. Oh, look at all the peace deals Rubio is making. Build him up as this peace deal maker, this incredible foreign diplomat, and then run him for election in 2028, and he's under your control. So that's what's going on here. To see, Israel's doing a peace deal. Israel, give me a break. Israel should be paying Lebanon billions of dollars. Israel should be in front of the International Criminal Court for what they did in Lebanon. Israel should be the one sanctioned by every country on earth. I mean, this is a joke. This is a joke. So that's all this is. This is all about Marco Rubio in 2028. And this is all about Lebanon now being an obstacle to getting done what they want in Iran. That's all this is. And that's why you see everybody pretending like, oh, this is the real deal now. We did it. Stop it. Israel will be back in southern Lebanon by the end of 2028, if not the end of 2026. Bet on it. Mark my words. So that's all this is. It's all about this right there. It's all about Rubio 2028. That's all this is about. Don't kid yourself. We had a lot of action in Russia. Now, Ukraine was able to get their biggest drone strike of the war off a couple weeks ago, and they've done it again. Ukraine unleashes one of its heaviest drone bombardments of Russia. Ukraine launched a major nighttime attack on dozens of Russian regions. Russian-held Crimea and the surrounding seas. Now, Crimea, that's the big one if Crimea pops off again. And Ukraine is like getting an edge on this war for the first time. This is the first time Ukraine has had any edge in this war. And they're hitting serious targets inside of Russia. Now, for the most part, Putin has still remained restrained, I think would be the proper word. Putin has still remained restrained in response to this, but I feel like one or two more of these, I don't know if that restraint is going to survive. And I'm wondering how much NATO has to do with this, in that they want to provoke Putin into a larger war, because that whole deal is not going how they want it to either. And they thought they could basically choke Russia out, and Russia's just sitting there in the chokehold laughing, like running laps around while in a chokehold. So something is going on that is allowing Ukraine to actually penetrate Russia where they've never been able to do it before. I think they're trying to, again, and this has kind of been the agenda from the beginning, they want to provoke Putin so that they can respond and start a larger war with Russia. And again, this is all globalism, folks. This is all globalism. The reason why your blood and treasure is invested in taking down Iran is for the globalists. The reason why your blood and treasure is invested in taking on Russia is because of globalism. So don't sit here as a Trump supporter and tell me we're nationalists, not globalists. No, you're not. You might like Trump more than the others. You might say he's better than everyone else, and you can still love the country, but don't fool yourself. Brando is not what plants crave. Now, Trump has, of course, told us that the Iranian military is destroyed. It's decimated. They have no capabilities anymore. And yet, somehow, that's not true. Because Trump is reporting today, the Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least 4 one-way attack drones at ships transversing the Strait of Hormuz. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo-carrying ship. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed on its way. We knocked down 3 other drones. Obviously, this is a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. So, the ceasefire. That's funny. Yeah, it's all funny now. Brondo's what plants crave. So, I guess Iran's military capabilities are not destroyed. I guess Iran's air defense capabilities are not destroyed. So, that was a big lie. Oh, but I'll believe you now. I'll believe you now. And I guess the Strait of Hormuz isn't open either. Who knows? Who knows? Can you imagine as all of this is going on and you live in one of these other neighboring countries or the Gulf nation states and they had a fake missile alert. They're saying it was a glitch. Dubai missile alert withdrawn after technical glitch amid Gulf tensions. The UAE sent a brief incoming missile alert to phones across Dubai before withdrawing it as a technical malfunction. Oh. The false warning underscored the fragility of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire and wider Gulf tensions. Ceasefire. Oh, my gosh. Who believes that? So you're in Dubai. Oh, fake missile alert. Oh, great. That's going to make life so much. Oh, wow. I'm sure that feels good. First, the panic of an incoming missile. Then it's just fake. And then what? There's going to be another one. And what are they going to think? It's fake, but it's real. Cool. Peace is breaking out everywhere. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Netanyahu. Thank you, NATO. You guys are so good. You guys are so good at achieving peace. It's incredible what you've been able to do. And now the big joke. Now the big joke. The joke's on you and the joke's on me, guys. The U.S. moves ahead with $70 million jet engine sale to Turkey, despite lawmaker concerns. Well, at least we're selling it to them, right? I mean, at least they're buying it legit. So kind of hard to argue with that. Except, why are lawmakers concerned? Well, because Israel doesn't like Turkey, and Israel controls our lawmakers, and so the Israeli-controlled lawmakers are trying to stop this deal from going through, but it's already a done deal. Now, the big joke here is, in 4 years or whenever Israel decides to engage its war with Turkey, which, I don't know, that could be the big one, because now NATO's drawn in. But we're not there yet. But everybody can see that's the big plan. Everybody sees how they're drawing that map out right now. Israel is going to go into Turkey next, or ask us to go into Turkey next. But, this is the military-industrial complex definitively right here. You know the meme with the missiles from one side, my tax dollars, and then the missiles from the other side, somehow also my tax dollars? It's like that's what goes on here. Hey, but at least in this case, they're buying them from us. So you get a little something. But this is all to build up the war that's going to be between Israel and maybe NATO. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where this goes, but that's clearly what this is building towards. And that's why lawmakers are concerned. All right, let's do, I was going to play this into a break. So let me actually do this first. There is an older clip that's basically been completely banned off the internet where it's a IDF, I think it's an IDF sergeant or captain, I can't remember. But he's kind of on, it's not a hidden camera, but it's not like he knows he's being recorded. It's just he's kind of there talking and there's a camera filming. And he's talking about how they engaged the Hannibal Directive on October 7th. And it's like that old clip got wiped off the internet. Well, another video has now surfaced. So it's basically not even debatable, guys. October 7th was a stand down and an inside job. The stand down happened when they let Hamas attack for 7 hours. And then the inside job is when they unleashed the Hannibal Directive. And it's likely that of the 1,100 people that got killed on October 7th, that the majority of them were actually killed by Israel. I mean, I'd say, oh, the irony, but it's not even that. It's pure evil. It's pure demonic. So now it's totally undeniable. Between the multiple confessions of this, the multiple testimonies in front of the Knesset from IDF soldiers on this, October 7th was a stand down and an inside job to start this greater Israel war. That's what it was. And if you're not willing to at least accept that that is a highly likelihood, whatever, maybe you disagree, maybe you want to push back, maybe you're not convinced, maybe you don't believe, or you got some other angle. If you're not at least willing to investigate that as a potential, you're not a serious person. And that's what's so unfortunate right now when we're having these foreign policy discussions. These are just not serious people. And that's, again, it's like this is the unfortunate moment. MAGA used to be a serious movement. You know, we used to understand, hey, they're lying to us about COVID. They're lying to us about vaccines. They're lying to us about masks. That's just one example. It's like we used to understand this stuff. We used to get this stuff. Now MAGA is Brondo. It's what plants crave. It's like you say, hey, you know, October 7th, because that's the whole justification. You say, hey, I don't like the wars in the Middle East. They say, what about October 7th? Okay, what about it? It was a stand down and an inside job. Oh my gosh. And then the name calling and the woke right begins. So you're just not serious people. And that's the problem. And that's why it's just so unfortunate right now in the political world. That's the issue. Now, there was another moment that kind of exposes this phenomenon, how unserious it is, on Piers Morgan. And he's got this guest on who's justifying all of the death and destruction in Gaza. And his arguments for justifying this are these numbers that he doesn't even have. He doesn't even have the numbers. And so he's saying, because of these numbers, the war is justified. And Piers like, well, can you present the numbers? And he can't. So I'm going to, instead of doing our normal break, I don't know, you guys like the music, but we'll spare you today. I'm trying to be as efficient as possible. It's about a 4-minute segment where Piers Morgan basically just nails this guy. He nails this pro-Israel war hawk who just sits up there and lies. And you know, and I said this before, and it was the Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson interview that really blew the door wide open on this. And you realized that they've really never actually had to defend their actions. You realize that the Israeli lobbyists, the Israeli loyalists, whether they're in Congress or they're in the media, whoever it is, they in American politics, they've had such a stranglehold on the media and such a stranglehold on the perception of what happens in the Middle East that they've never had to answer serious questions. It's just always been assumed that they're the good guy. It's always been presented that they're the victims. They're the good guys. Well, that's not the case anymore. And so now you're seeing it for the first time ever. The Israeli lobbyists, the Israeli loyalists are being forced to answer serious questions about military action in the Middle East, and they can't do it. They can't do it. And it's the first time they've ever had to, and now it's like, we don't have to because they can't. So pretty amazing stuff. So we're going to show that here in just a second. Well, guys, are you looking at the stock market and wondering, I don't know if I like that. Maybe you're thinking about savings, and I don't know if you want to have money there. You know, the markets are volatile. The dollar, who knows? You're thinking, what is a good bet? What can I secure my wealth in? Maybe you're thinking about precious metals, gold, silver, like many people are. And if you are, you need to go with my friends at Allegiance Gold. Now, first of all, this one's obvious, but if you're going to be making a decision about your wealth, about your finances, you got to make sure it's with people you can trust. That's why I like Allegiance Gold. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Can't get any better than that. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. With nearly 10,000 clients nationwide, all their patients trust them. Transparent, and they focus on educating you first. That's why you give them a call. It's free. 844-790-9191. You have any questions about gold, silver, precious metals, moving your wealth, your finances into precious metals? Any questions? The call is free. 844-790-9191. And while you've got them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to move into something real before the next reset. So give them a call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth and freedom because no one else will. All right, we're going to use the Piers Morgan segment as our break today. It's about 4 minutes, and then I'll come back and we will get to the rest of the news.
But do you believe, okay, but John, do you believe that the ratio of civilian deaths to enemy combatant terrorist deaths in Gaza, for example, is the best ratio, if you like, that we've seen in modern warfare? Is that your belief?
And so I stated that early in the war when there were people doing false comparative analysis.
But do you still believe that about Gaza?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my question for you is very simple then.
It's aggregated.
Okay, but my question for you is very simple.
Here's what is the...
No, but hang on, John. Let me finish my question. I will let you answer. I will let you answer, but because you said that, let me just give you my question, which is this.
Sure.
To make that assessment, you would have to know how many civilians have been killed, wouldn't you?
Yep.
So how many is it?
So I take both the numbers that we all have available. I don't filter them through some prism of intentionality and already.
But no pro-Israeli guest has been able to tell me the numbers. So maybe you can enlighten everybody. How many civilians have been killed in Gaza?
Sure. So I take the Hamas number that they provide, which doesn't distinguish between civilian and combatants, and then I take the one that Israel provides. I have done enough research on all the numbers of any urban battle to understand when do we have a number, and then how is it determined?
Sure. So how many civilians have been killed?
According to Hamas, 72,000.
What is your belief?
My belief is that we don't have a number, but if we take Hamas's number and then we compare it to Israel's numbers of combatants, how many fighters do you think Hamas has, guys?
Okay, let's take the Israel number of combatants. So I've asked Israeli ambassadors how many civilians have been killed. They can always tell me how many Hamas have been killed.
That's right.
But they can never tell me
how many civilians have died?
Oddly, they can never tell me how many civilians have been killed. So my simple question for you is to make the assessment that the ratio has never been better than it is in Gaza in terms of combatants killed compared to civilians. You'd have to know both numbers. You have to, right? So my question again is simple. How many civilians have actually been killed in Gaza?
So that would be a question.
You don't know, do you?
Comment.
You don't know.
So when people talk about how many civilians have died, you just started the show talking about an indiscriminate number, a high number of civilians. You too don't have access to information to know that body.
No, but you're the one making the claim that the ratio is the best we've seen. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable, John, in that context of that claim, to simply ask you that obviously to make that assessment, you must know how many civilians have been killed and how many Hamas terrorists have been killed. If you don't know, I don't know how you can make the assessment.
I mean, I guess you could challenge the qualitative analysis of any war in the history of war.
I'm only asking you about your claim. You said it was the best ratio, and yet I'm simply asking you, okay, so what is the ratio? How many civilians? How many Hamas?
And I'm trying to explain to you the qualitative analysis.
But do you know the answer or not?
Yes.
What is it?
It is based on Hamas's number.
No, just give me a number of civilians who've been killed that for you to make your judgment that the ratio is the best in modern times. Okay, that's your claim. I respect your right to have a claim, but to back it up, you have to know the two numbers. You have to be able to tell me this number of civilians were killed and this number of Hamas. And then we can all decide whether that is the best ratio of modern times. But if you don't know, now's your chance to say, actually, I don't know. Because I don't think you do you?
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, before we get back into the planned news coverage for today, I'm getting alerts in the break that we have struck Iran. I'm getting alerts in the break that the Trump administration has once again decided to strike Iran or somewhere in the Strait of Hormuz. This is breaking, so I'm not sure the exact details. You know, I didn't have any of the earthquake coverage in my stack. But quickly, they just updated a death toll here. They know over 1,000 are dead. Yikes! That'd be like, unfortunate to say, that'd be like a good number, considering what happened in Venezuela. If it was only 1,000, and that is painful to say. But I have a feeling that's going to continue to go up. That was devastation, and we noticed, if you saw. People are concerned that there could be a follow-up earthquake because it looks like that entire tectonic plate line where there was activity along the entire ridge of it, they're concerned that that was maybe the opening act to what could follow. So some major concern on the earthquake front as well. All right. White House Religious Liberty Commission presents recommendations. The panel urged repeal of the Johnson Amendment, creation of religious liberty violation hotlines, know your rights posters, and presidential religious freedom awards, blah, 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 blah. It's all slop. You know, it's funny to me. A couple things are funny about this to me. The White House Religious Liberty Commission released its final report offering its recommendations to strengthen religious freedom in the United States. And this commission was at the Oval Office at the White House today, meeting with President Trump. It's like everything else. It's just all fake. It's all fake. Just like Republicans pretending to fight socialism. It's all fake. It means nothing. Religious Liberty Commission means nothing. If Carrie Prejean Bowler didn't already expose the fraud of the Religious Liberty Commission, it's even more exposed today. Now, Dan Patrick from Texas and a lot of the Texas Republicans here, they get a lot of heat for what people call the Islamic takeover of Texas, the Islamification of Texas. And it's very likely if you follow political news that you've probably seen or heard this at least once or twice. So the local Republicans get blamed for that. And a lot of them have taken the money. A lot of them have taken the Islamist money and endorsed the Muslims in creating their city centers and everything else. But then they get attacked. So, okay. And now you deal with this Religious Liberty Commission. It's a giant fraud. And I'm not even talking about the fact that Paula White is there, one of the biggest heretics, one of the biggest religious heretics in the history of the world, probably. Honestly, I mean, she might be the top religious heretic ever. It's debatable, but she's in the running. Oh, and she's up there. So it's Religious Liberty Commission here. Oh, yes, but Carrie Prejean Bowler and anybody that thinks like that is out. And, but also we don't like Muslims and we attack Muslims all day long. And so it's the same garbage. Here, I see all the people that promote the Trump slop. They're like, oh, Religious Liberty Commission. Look, religious liberty. Oh, Trump, religious liberty. Republicans, religious liberty. Oh, Democrats could never. And then you guys turn around and talk about how much you hate Muslims. And then you guys turn around and say how you want Muslims banned from the country. Just shut up. You're so fake. We believe in religious liberty. And then they turn around, ban all Muslims. Just get out of here with your slop. Just get out of here with your garbage. Either you're serious about religious liberty or you are not. And you're not. If you don't want Muslims here, fine, say it. Which you do, by the way. But then don't tell me you're about religious liberty. It's a big fat joke. Did you guys see this in China? Small aircraft crashes into Beijing's tallest skyscraper. First of all, this building is pretty incredible. You know, Beijing is just like this giant collage of skyscrapers. So it's, you know, at night you see all the flashing lights and it looks cool. This building is a monster. What is this thing called? The CITIC Tower. I think it's the tallest building in Beijing. Yeah, it's the tallest building in Beijing. Well, okay, this small aircraft bounces off of it. All right, I won't even do the 9/11 stuff. All right. Let's move on. The building is unfazed. Okay, so you may have seen this story, and I think it totally, in fact, I think it confirms what I was reporting. Except this is from the RFK Jr. camp and not the Tulsi Gabbard camp, but it's exactly what I reported or my suspicions were. White House, RFK Jr. tried to push third-party candidates out of tight House races. Now, this was part of a larger phone call that got leaked from the Libertarians. And the controversy here that they're going to try to cover and get to stick, and it doesn't sound good. But Kennedy says on this call, I can't go into specifics because there's legal prohibitions about that. So it sounds like, hey, you know, wink, wink, nod, nod. All right, they're going to make a big case out of this. Oh, yes, that's the big giant corruption in politics. Give me a break. So essentially what they're talking about here is, you know, when Trump was in campaign mode and he was bringing on Tulsi Gabbard and he was bringing on RFK Jr., they go into this phone call. The Libertarian Party shared it on X, by the way. If you want to go listen to the whole, it's about 4 minutes. And so they're trying to set up RFK Jr. here. And I don't know if there's an agenda behind that or it's like, why are you doing this now? But essentially there's two things that you need to understand about this. One, the angle was, all right, this is all about RFK Jr. I also believe this case is probably true about Tulsi Gabbard. But the RFK Jr. angle was, all right, we're all going to get behind Trump. And it makes more sense for me to get in with Trump because I can actually do something. I can actually do something good for the country. Whereas if I run against Trump and we take all these votes from Trump, I won't win and a Democrat might get in. So it's a pragmatic, strategic decision. I don't think you blame RFK Jr. for making it. And I don't think he was the only one. So the deal was, all right, RFK Jr., drop out of the race, endorse me, do some legwork for me, bring some more people into the coalition, and you will have a role in my administration. Now, whether the exact role was agreed to or not is not expressed here, but it is expressed, I will get the role. So that's the deal that was made. And I told you that was the deal. I told you that was the deal months ago. The exact same deal I would bet was made with Tulsi Gabbard as well.
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
So don't be surprised if somebody else releases some other phone calls or there's some other stories that pop up about how Trump was courting these other candidates and he's saying, get the libertarians out of the way. We need every vote we can get. Get behind me and I'll get in, and then you can have this role and you can have that role. And you could argue he kind of betrayed his end of the deal. I don't want to get into that too much right now, but you could argue The deal Trump made with Gabbard, the deal Trump made with RFK Jr., the deal Trump made with other people who are now gone. Trump may have betrayed all those deals. But maybe that's getting ahead of ourselves. There's a couple Supreme Court decisions. The Supreme Court lets the Trump administration end legal protections for Haitians and Syrians. I think this was a couple million, or what do we got here? The Supreme Court on Thursday allowed the Trump administration to end legal protections for migrants fleeing violence and natural disaster in Haiti and Syria. Yeah, this is what, let me just weave for a second here. This is where you try to get this expressed to all of the people that bitch and complain about Muslims in the country. And you say, you know why they're here, right? They're here because we destroyed their home countries and now they come here under the asylum program. It's like, that's what we do. So we fight all these wars in the Middle East for the foreign lobby. And then all the refugees and asylum seekers have to come here and live here now. Yeah, they're not going to Israel. They're not going to Egypt. They're not going to Saudi Arabia. They're coming here. So that's the big joke. That's the big joke. So they support the foreign wars that then result in the asylum seekers and refugees, and then they complain about the asylum seekers and refugees, and you say, hey, if we stop the foreign wars, they won't come here anymore. And they say, you're an anti-Semite. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But now Trump can deport the Haitians and Syrians, and they say that I guess there's a larger protected status. The 6-3 decision overturns lower court orders and allows the Department of Homeland Security to swiftly end temporary protected status, a program that protects a total of 1.3 million people from 17 countries. So this will open up the door for more deportations, but I don't think they're going to walk through it. I think it gives them the door. I think it gives them the opportunity, but we'll see if they end up walking through it. Now, Mamdani, I guess a lot of them live in New York City. Mamdani has already offered or issued an announcement here. Zohran Mamdani is urging Haitian and Syrian New Yorkers not to panic after the Supreme Court's ruling allowing the Trump administration to end certain deportation protections. He's got a hotline for them. If you're worried about what this means for your status or your family, call the mayor's office of immigrant affairs. And then he's got a hotline here. And let me also just say this. A lot of people that are willing to be honest in the political commentary world, a lot of people have realized, the Democrats are actually serious. The Republicans are not serious about anything. The Republicans are only serious about serving the donor class. That's it. And maybe enriching themselves, but whatever. Everybody does that. The Democrats actually deliver on the things they say. Now, we might not like the things that they say, and we don't like the things that they do. They actually deliver. It's like they actually follow through on the stuff. This is why Mamdani is popular, because he's following through on the things he would say he would do, and Trump isn't. And so it's just, again, it's like the same thing. These idiocracy MAGA people now. It's like, you guys you just don't get it, do you? You don't. The Democrats are actually delivering on what they told their voters they would deliver on. As much as we don't like it, as much as we disagree with it, as much as we think it's going to destroy the country, the Democrats are actually doing it. Republicans run on one thing and then do the opposite. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Trump wants to bail out the auto industry. Trump asked Congress for $1 billion to boost pensions of former GM parts company workers. That's what we need. The White House asked Congress on Wednesday for $1 billion to boost the pensions of workers at former General Motors auto parts unit Delphi that were cut during the Detroit automaker's 2009 bankruptcy restructuring. The White House is also seeking $1 billion to help reconstruct New York's Penn Station and $500 million to support ongoing construction projects at Washington World War II Memorial and the Tidal Basin as part of a supplemental funding request. And what's a couple billion here or there? Maybe you like fixing New York's Penn Station. Maybe you like fixing Washington's World War II Memorial. Do you like bailing out GM again? a month ago, we had some interesting developments in South Carolina, and there's a lot of other states that are going to be facing this if they haven't already. Ivermectin. South Carolina House passes bill allowing ivermectin to be sold over the counter. I don't want to get too deep into the ivermectin stuff right now, but there's some interesting stuff coming out about ivermectin. Some studies are proving some very interesting stuff about ivermectin. And boy, it's amazing. You know, the one thing that's amazing about X, it introduces you to people that you've never met and probably never will, but it pushes you to their news feeds and the things that they're saying. So I saw some individuals on X attacking ivermectin the last couple of days and saying that the studies are fake and it's really bad. It's only good for deworming. You know, the same stuff that we heard during COVID in 2020. And these accounts keep popping up for some reason on my X. And by the way, when I see that about something I'm not following, I assume those are promoted posts. You know, you can pay to promote and pay to boost a post on X, which is how it gets into your For You feed, is they pay to do that. So it's like if I post about the World Cup and World Cup stuff shows up, it's like, no, that's the organic algorithm. But if I don't say anything about ivermectin or South Carolina, and then all of a sudden I'm getting that, it's like, okay, somebody's paying to promote this. And so it's all these people saying ivermectin is bad for you. We have to stop this from getting over the counter. And this has been going on for really the last month as some of these bills are being proposed. So I saw it again today because there's breaking news on this that I'm going to get to in a second. But I saw it again today. And I'm like, you know what? Who are these people? And I go into their accounts. And you know what? You know what else they're into? They're into the war in the Middle East. Almost every single account on X that popped up on my feed today telling you ivermectin is bad and it can't go over the counter. And I would go to their X accounts, and every single time they're also promoting all the war in the Middle East from the one side, you know. Like, what is this? What is going on? What in the hell is going on? If this was the year like 1950 or something, there is no internet, there is no social media, there is no X. There's just the town square, or there's just like the city council where everybody meets. This is like these people show up at your city council that you've never seen before. These people show up at your general city hall that you've never seen before. And they're like aliens. And you're like, hey, we need to fix the well, or, we need to fix the electrical wire and everything. And these people out of nowhere just show up and they're like, don't fix the well. You should put fluoride in the well. You're like, what the hell? Who the hell? Who are you? When did you get here? It's like, hey, we need to fix the electrical. You don't want the electrical grid. Electricity's bad for you. You know, what in the hell? That's what this is like. It's like, who are these people? These people just pop out of nowhere. Like, you can't have ivermectin, dirty American. Who the hell are you? What the hell are you doing here? You need more war in the Middle East, American. What? Get out of here. Get out of my city. Get out of my town. Get. Who are you? Get out of here. Every damn day. So it looked like they were going to get this over the counter. It looked like they were going to get ivermectin over the counter. And guess what? If you don't like ivermectin, then you don't have to go get it. Amazing. Well, the Republicans voted it down. The Republicans in South Carolina voting it down. Sad news in South Carolina. Rhinos just killed the over-the-counter ivermectin bill, sending it back to committee. How about this is America and I can do what I want, you dirty commies? How about that? We are against socialism. We're against communism. But you can't use what medicine you choose. Okay. All right. Another huge betrayal. Military reverses course and again mandates flu shots for most military and civilian personnel. Oh, a total betrayal. A total betrayal. Now, this is from Aaron Seary, and he has enough. He's like the number one vaccine injury lawyer in the country. And he has an impressive team now because of his success. I feel like the administration is going to have to address this. I think this is too big. Now, you might not really hear much about this in the political commentary world, but Aaron Siri has, he's got some serious pull, and him making a case out of this is not going to be, it's not going to be quiet. I can promise you that. So I think there'll be another development on this. We'll see. But it's just total betrayal. And I think, RFK Jr., it's like, what is he going to do at this point? Now, this one is out of their hands, so you can't really blame him for this, but it's not good. Supreme Court rejects lawsuit alleging Roundup weed killer caused cancer. So all kinds of bailouts now. All kinds of bailouts for Bayer and all of these products that are causing cancer. And there were a bunch of lawsuits, and they are all getting bailed out. They're all getting covered up and bailed out. And that is also the Trump administration doing that. But this one's coming from the Supreme Court. The decision is sickening. Maha leaders feel betrayed by Supreme Court ruling on Roundup weed killer. The Trump administration backed Bayer, the maker of Roundup, angering prominent voices in the Make America Healthy Again movement. Total betrayal. Now, Mike Adams, the health ranger, had an interesting angle on this. Try to keep up, guys. I'm not even joking. Try to keep up. This one has a lot of twists and turns, but I found it interesting enough. I wanted to at least read it here on air. In response to this, the irony is thick. SCOTUS just handed Bayer a license to kill, and Bayer is the offshoot of IG Farben, the Third Reich era corporate conglomerate that deployed chemical weapons to kill humans in mass. That body of research on chemical weapons led decades later to the creation of glyphosate, a chemical weapons for plants. SCOTUS then grants the very same corporation those company roots to take it back to Nazi-era mass unaliving, the right to poison and unalive any number of Americans in 2026 and beyond. Uh-oh. The Nazis never actually lost World War II, it turns out. They infiltrated America and now run the highest court in the land, where Nazi-era chemical weapons research is deployed even on non-GMO food crops like wheat and oats so that everybody eats some of the deadly chemicals. I'll have full coverage of this on my broadcast tomorrow, and I've also interviewed Mel Kay, who has a new book on this very subject, and I'll be publishing that interview next week. Just avoid it as much as you can, if you can. But there'll be no accountability for that now. Seems that's the big thing. Just that's the theme. No accountability ever. Unless you, we don't live in a socialist country. Really? Stop paying your taxes. See what happens. No, that's the story. No accountability for anything ever. Unless you, there'll be plenty of accountability for you with a crooked toenail. Don't doubt that for a second. And that's just going to keep getting worse, by the way. Also in the health stack today, a new report finds few sunscreens meet safety standards. I think this is from today. This is from earlier this week. This is from Wednesday. It's time to stock up on sunscreen. No, it's not. But few choices on store shelves today are both safe and effective, according to an annual report by the Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit health and environmental advocacy organization. In its 20th year, the EWG's Guide to Sunscreens analyzed 2,900 products and only found 597, that's about 20%, that deliver safe and effective protection against harmful rays of the sun. So not only does the sunscreen not protect you from the sun, it actually does harm to you. And it reminded me of the older study that there's more that have come out since. Nicholas Holscher reporting here. He's an epidemiologist. A bombshell study of 470,000 people found using sunscreen increased the risk of three major skin cancers: invasive melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma. These alarming cancer signals persisted even after researchers accounted for age, sex, skin type, tanning ability, sunburn history, sun lamp use, and time spent outdoors. It's not a good idea to slather rapidly absorbed toxic chemicals all over your body while blocking vitamin D, one of the body's Main defenses against cancer. Well, so it just blocks the good stuff, and it doesn't even block the bad stuff, and it gives you a bunch of bad things. Sunscreen might be one of the biggest frauds forced into common culture in America that you've ever seen. It's you have to wonder. It's so ridiculous. You have to wonder if it wasn't just diabolical to begin with. Now, let's just be clear. I'm not telling you to go sit out in the sun for the first time this summer for 8 hours without sunscreen. You're going to cook. So that's not good for you either. So before we get those people, because there's always those people that's like, oh, yeah, well, you'll get a sunburn. Yeah, I know. Okay, how about don't be an idiot? How about just don't be an idiot? No, I cut out sunscreen, I don't know how long ago, and my skin has never been better. I don't even burn anymore. I don't even burn. When I was using sunscreen, I would still burn like 2 or 3 times in the summer. I haven't used sunscreen in years. I don't even burn anymore, and I get a better tan. But you do have to work on that. Now, I'm obviously, I'm pretty light skinned here, so the lighter you are, the harder it is to kind of acclimate your skin to that. Now, when you're in Texas, maybe it's easier than, say, Minnesota. You have to ask, though, with all of these different things, the Roundup, the sunscreens, the glyphosate, just all the stuff that they feed us, put in the water, if it's all done intentionally, when are people going to be held accountable? When are we going to free ourselves and expose the people that are trying to kill us? Maybe that's too heavy for a Friday, but it's like, this is the real story, man. This is the real issue. Not some holy war in the Middle East, okay? Not some fake fight against socialism. You're in a socialist country. No, there is clearly a secret government running a population control agenda, poisoning you or attempting to every day of your life. So you better start acting accordingly. It's really crazy. And I don't know, the seed oils is kind of the other end of that spectrum. People think consuming the seed oils causes you to get a sunburn. I don't know. I cut the seed oils and the sunscreen like at the same time in like 2020 or 2019. So I don't know. But I don't burn anymore, and it's easier for me to get a better tan as much as I can as a Norwegian soccer player to get a tan here. But isn't that incredible about the sunscreen? Doesn't even do the job it's supposed to, and then does harm to you. So do what you want with that information. But I guess I'm actually part of this study. Study shows sunscreen misinformation online spreads further than facts. Oh, I gotcha. By the way, so many people don't know this, but your skin is an organ. It's the largest organ. It absorbs everything. And it's ironic. You look at things like bug spray, you look at things like sunscreen, it'll say do not consume. It'll say do not consume on the bottle. But when you put it on your skin, you consume it. When you spray that on your skin, you are consuming it. I had a friend who worked at one of these plants that did the bug spray and did the sunscreen. And when you actually go into like the chemical plant, like where they're putting it all together, you have to wear a hazmat suit. Do with this information what you will. The FBI Phoenix is reporting today, Israeli citizen sentenced for conspiring to steal trade secret. You don't say. Has that ever happened before? Guy Galanti, 48 years old, an Israeli citizen who resided in Scottsdale, Arizona, worked as a senior level manager for green technology investments. Over the course of several months, Galante secretly sent photos of GTI's glass detect design information and software to his co-conspirator in an effort to recreate GTI's proprietary system. Boy, an Israeli trying to steal intellectual property and secrets and send it somewhere else. Have we ever seen anything like that before? Wow. Well, Democrats and Republicans agree You heard from John Fetterman 2 days ago. Now you hear from Ted Cruz. Democrats and Republicans agree. If you don't love Israel, you don't love America. That's right. That's right. And now you're not even a real Christian. You're not even a real Christian if you're an anti-Semite, says Ted Cruz. Oh, I love this. Greenblatt is saying the same thing. Do I have that Greenblatt clip today? I can't remember if I pulled in the Greenblatt clip. Let me see. If I did, maybe it's time to bring that forward. Yeah, let's do that. So earlier this week, John Fetterman told you if you don't support Israel, you're anti-American. Now Ted Cruz is saying the same thing, and he's adding a little cherry on top, saying you're not even a Christian, too. You're not a Christian. Well, Jonathan Greenblatt, he's taking it a step further. If you are a Christian, you're an anti-Semite. And by the way, Jonathan Greenblatt got invited onto Fox News. So Greenblatt is doing segments on Fox News. How do you like that? So, okay, now your corrupt congressmen are coming out and telling you if you don't support Israel, you're anti-American. I mean, that should tell you everything right there. That should tell you who they work for. But now they're telling you if you're Christian, you're an anti-Semite. Yeah. So it's a blatant attack on American patriots. It's a blatant attack on Christians. Where could this all be coming from? What is the common source? How could this be happening? What is going on, guys? It's so hard to figure this out. Why are we in the Middle East again? Why are Christians under attack? Why are we being told if we don't support Israel, we're anti-American? Why are we being told if you're not a Christian Zionist, you're an anti-Semite? Why are all of these things happening, guys? What is the connection here? I can't figure it out. It's really hard. It's really a difficult thing here in America to figure out where all this is coming from, why it's all happening. It's a very confusing time. Very confusing. It's probably Iran or Qatar. What's the flavor of the week? Is it Qatar? Is it Iran? I don't know. It's so hard. Difficult, really difficult. All right. Let's get to the data center stuff here. Data center. This is, I can't believe this. I'm going to give you a little report here. So in Massachusetts, it's a massive data center gets built. I mean, a monstrosity. And this is in like an old Massachusetts neighborhood. It still has that kind of quaint, old-timey feel. And they just landed this massive data center in the middle of it like a spaceship. And listen to how the locals are describing it.
The largest data center in Massachusetts.
It's nicknamed by a lot of residents in the neighborhood the Dungeon, because it seriously is just this black building that looms over us.
The Markley Data Center in Lowell. It's a mammoth digital warehouse storing everything from your text messages to your medical files. Jake Fortes might be its biggest critic. This blue house is his childhood home. The building has 27 emergency generators with smokestacks. Jake claims they send fumes toward his home, and he says the rows of air conditioning units on the roof.
By the way, as you're listening to this, if you saw it, what's even more incredible, I think, aside from the noise pollution and the energy issues, this thing is like this giant monstrosity. It's like you have this beautiful old American, like total Americana, East Coast Massachusetts neighborhood, scenic. And then there's just this black blob that just looks like a giant spaceship landed, like an overlord landed.
Are always humming.
That's a constant.
There are coast-to-coast concerns about what these data centers can do to the environment, from the massive amount of energy they use to the incredible amount of water they need.
Do you guys see this? Look at that. How pissed would you be? I'm sure these houses are not cheap, by the way. I mean, these are probably $1 million houses. I mean, look at this. This is classic. These houses have probably been up for hundreds of years. Beautiful, scenic neighborhood. And it's just, now your backdrop is a giant black cube.
To keep all of the equipment cool. But the owners of this data center say it is not a drain on resources. I asked Markley for a tour of that data center, which they never do. That's Adam Burnham. He's the corporate vice president for Markley and our tour guide. How many servers do you have here in this building?
There must be thousands
Thousands?
from hundreds of different customers.
And how much data is stored here?
To use technical terms, it would be petabytes.
Just 1 petabyte is equal to roughly 250 million photos. or the storage capacity of 250,000 smartphones, or 13 years worth of continuous high-definition movies.
Now, let's consider this. Let me just propose the alternative, which is the previous. So essentially, you know, the whole claim is, the whole argument is going to be that this is your data. This is the cloud storage system, right? So you can back up everything. Well, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Now, obviously that's going on, but I don't think they care about you having storage. I don't think they care about you having ample storage, because the truth is you can have that. You can already have that. You know, most phones, this phone is like a couple years old now. I think it's got 128 gigabytes on it, on a little phone. And this isn't connected to the cloud. So on my one phone, which is what, the 20th phone I've had? On my one phone, I've got 128 gigs. The average computer now comes with at least a terabyte. Most come with 2 terabytes. You can buy now for a couple $100 a portable storage system. It's like your own mini data center that has hundreds of terabytes. And it's like you can store everything on that. So there's not a necessity here. There's not a need here as far as the consumer is concerned. This is all about stealing your data and selling your data. That's what it is all about. And then ultimately, this all becomes the giant AI surveillance state. That's what this is all about. We don't need this. I'm sorry. We don't need this. The consumer is not demanding this. This is the AI surveillance state. That's what this is, folks. But I want to move on here. Here's a woman. So part of this is now the flock cameras. And this is where the flock cameras are going to store all of their spy video on you. Listen to this one lady's experience with flock cameras in a tiny rural town.
I pass 8 flock cameras on the way to my kids' school. 3 gas stations, 2 stoplights, but 8 flock cameras. I live in a rural county. I'm passing more surveillance cameras than I am businesses. That's insane. So
that's because those surveillance cameras are businesses.
Oh yeah, surveillance state coming to a rural county near you.
So I think there's a common misconception.
So there you go. Let's see here. Well, they got to find a way to power this. They got to find a way to get water here to cool these things. How is Texas going to handle this, guys? Let's see here. How a tiny Texas river agency plans to build the largest desalination plant in the country. Okay. Officials from the Neches River Authority collected millions of dollars from cities and utility districts near San Antonio and Austin. Oh, we're collecting millions of dollars. Okay, from San Antonio and Austin before they partnered with an Israeli desalination giant. Oh, of course. Of course. Well, there were no alternatives, I'm sure. I'm sure there was no American company that could do it. It had to be an Israeli company, guys. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Stop it. Stop it. Development in the Charlie Kirk case today. Prosecutors in Charlie Kirk case found in contempt for media statement. The judge in the Charlie Kirk murder trial declined defense request to throw out the death penalty as punishment, but did order prosecutors to pay some of the defense's legal fees. A Utah judge overseeing the murder trial in Charlie Kirk's killing held the prosecution in contempt of court on Friday for telling the online news outlet TMZ that prosecutors had ample evidence to win a conviction. Now, this is a strange thing happening. It's hard to understand where the judge is coming from here, because the interpretation is this is obviously trying to, give statements to the media that could ultimately affect a jury or affect the outcome of a trial. But there's also the strange phenomenon where there is no more evidence. There is no more evidence. The evidence has already been presented, which makes the whole thing even weirder, by the way. And look, I've already kind of had my statement on this, and the whole thing is so toxic now. It's like, even going into it is, just look at what they do to Candace Owens. So who knows what evidence you're going to see that's going to change your mind? Because right now it sounds like they have none. And for somebody like me who does not believe the official narrative, but I'm saying, all right, you know, I'll wait and see what else you're going to present, what other evidence you have. But if you can't explain how a 30-06 doesn't go through a neck, and if you can't provide the footage of Robinson getting on the roof and taking the shot, I'm sorry, but I don't see how you can prove it to me. I don't see how you can prove it to a juror either, which is going to make this whole thing interesting. And I'll just say this, and I'm not telling you what to believe, and I'm not telling you what I believe, just to be clear. But I have now seen more evidence that Charlie Kirk's mic exploded than I have that Tyler Robinson took the shot. There is now more evidence for you to consume right now that his mic exploded than there is evidence that Tyler took the shot. And again, it would be the easiest thing to do to just show us the video of Tyler doing it. And we know you have the security camera that captured it, so why haven't we seen it? And now you have these individuals that are going out and they've rigged up exploding microphones, and they've been able to reenact the physics of the event to almost a perfect degree. It's like a 99% reenactment of the physics of the shirt and the wire and the microphone and everything. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you what I believe. I'm telling you what I don't believe. But I am telling you this. There is now more evidence. There is now a more convincing presentation that a microphone exploded than there is that Tyler Robinson took a shot. Now, here's a little irony. When people were insinuating that Charlie was a victim of a foreign professional assassination, let's just put it like that. You know, the official narrative was immediately leftist, radical, and now that official narrative has stuck. And that's what we've been told. Radical leftist, radical leftist. And if anybody suggests otherwise, if you suggest there was a foreign country involved, our greatest ally involved, you're a crazy person. How dare you? You're not allowed to do that. Well, now they're changing. All of a sudden, there's a new change in the atmosphere. All of a sudden, there's a new presentation coming your way. By the way, these are all the same Israeli online lobbyists that don't even live in the country, but they, for some reason, promote America to support Israel all the time, like this account right here. But now they're all sharing this post from Charlie that said Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. So now they're insinuating it was a Muslim. So now the same people that said, how dare you say that it wasn't Tyler Robinson, the same people that said, how dare you question that it wasn't Tyler Robinson, now they're telling you, no, maybe it was a Muslim. Oh. Well, if logic can't be applied universally, you know it's not logic, it's propaganda. So, now it might be a Muslim? Oh, now it might not be Tyler Robinson because we want to blame a Muslim now? And they're all the same accounts that promote the same propaganda. They're all sharing this now? Wow. I'm sure it's all a coincidence. But let me just ask something, because I've not heard anybody ask this. And I don't know enough about Charlie Kirk's social media activity. But I know enough about social media, and I know enough about big personalities and big media people on their social media to know that not every time you see a post on that account is it from that person. And I'm just sitting here looking at this as I keep seeing this shared, and I'm saying, you know, is this really something that Charlie would post? Now, I'm not denying that Charlie was against radical Islam. I'm not denying that Charlie took very public stances against Islam and the Islamification of America. Obviously, he did. I'm not denying any of that. We've seen the videos of that. That is true. I'm not denying that. But, you know, I am questioning if Charlie actually posted this. In fact, I don't think he did, because it doesn't sound like something Charlie would say. That type of rhetoric sounds like something you would hear from, well, let's just move on. Let's just move on. All right, guys, I think that was our heavy. I think that was our last heavy of the day. I think the rest of it is lightening us up a little bit here. I think the rest of it is light here. So let's just move on. All right. Have you guys ever seen a Chinese vehicle on the road before? I've seen a couple of them, actually. Chinese car makers knocking at U.S. gate from Mexico and Canada. And I think the reason maybe why I'm seeing them is because in Texas, I guess maybe they're coming over from Mexico. But I've seen a couple Chinese vehicles on the streets of Austin. And they kind of stick out because you've never seen anything like them. It's like how many different brands of cars that you see on American streets. It's the consistent same 10 or whatever it is. So when you see these Chinese vehicles, they kind of stand out and you don't recognize the logo. And I got to tell you, after seeing some of them, I started looking into these cars, and I'm wondering why the Chinese automaker industry is it seems like maybe ahead of the U.S. industry. Now, that's not a knock on U.S. vehicles. I like U.S. vehicles. But what was shocking about it to me when I was looking at these Chinese vehicles is basically they're like half the price. They're like half the price. And the only reason why Americans are not buying Chinese vehicles is because of the tariffs and how much it costs. If you could buy a Chinese vehicle at cost, it's about half the price of an American vehicle. And in many occasions, the Chinese car might even be nicer. What China is doing with some of their SUVs and their suspension right now is unmatched in American vehicles. It's not even close. You can go look at these tests that they do in China. I'm wondering if China isn't going to try to penetrate the U.S. market through Mexico and Canada, and maybe they can find a way around the tariffs and the shipping costs. And you already have this issue in the American auto industry now. GM needs another bailout. This could really shake things up. I think you're going to hear more about this in the near future. And if these cars start entering the market and like half the price of American vehicles, folks, I'm telling you, this will shock you. I think this one could shock you. All right, the reflecting pool back in the news. Is that what we have? Oh. Park police ask for public's help to ID person who allegedly damaged DC reflecting pool. Well, there's this video going around of this lady. She doesn't look, I don't know. She doesn't look middle-aged, I guess. I don't know how you could identify her. This is what they're claiming is proof of the box cutter. Of course, this is not proof at all. And this is surface level, like foam. And this is what they're saying. This is proof that somebody took a box cutter. This is literally surface level foam. And then they're showing these flakes. These are bubbles. These are bubbles from the rock that was not properly dried. So that's how this happens, is it's from bubbles. And then who knows about the algae and all the other stuff. I think that just is probably hard to stop. So this woman, they have a video of her. She literally just dips her finger. She leans over, dips into the pool, and maybe she pulls out a flake, I think. And they're, this is the big criminal. They got her, the big criminal. It's a nothing burger. I have to tell you, folks, I think they totally made up the box cutter. I think it's totally fabricated. And this is the only evidence they've presented, which, of course, if this is your evidence, then you've just disproved yourself. You've just disproved the whole thing. And it'd be pretty easy. If somebody goes for 300 feet with a box cutter on the bottom of the pool, you'd think that'd be something you could prove with a couple photos and videos pretty easily. And this is what they give us. I think the whole thing is BS. I think it's a botch job. And I think it's a botch job because you wanted it done before your birthday. And now it's going to cost the taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. And it wouldn't even be a story except Trump made it one. But, it's funny. This was May 4th, guys, when Trump was bragging about the job. When Trump was bragging about the job they were going to do at the reflecting pool, this is what he said. It's very strong. You couldn't if you had a knife. I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you couldn't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. This is Trump, May 4th. Trump is asked a question about the paint that they're using on the reflecting pool. It's very strong. You couldn't, even if you had a knife, I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you couldn't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. So Trump even said it's uncuttable with a knife. Literally. And now he's telling you it was a cut from a knife with no evidence. Have you guys seen the price of electronics is skyrocketing? So you got the price of electronics skyrocketing. Well, you know what? Let me change this. Let me go to this one first. I'll go back to the Grand Theft Auto. The data center boom is sparking a third wave of inflation. Change in consumer prices for computer software and accessories is skyrocketing. It's up 15%. Well, really, you could argue in the last couple of months, it's up about 20%, but it's up about 15% year over year. The new Apple prices just came out. A MacBook is now virtually unaffordable. Apple to raise prices due to memory chip crunch, Tim Cook says, and now there's a MacBook that goes for 10 grand. I remember my first MacBook, and I think I even had to take out a loan to get it at the time. I was a young guy. I was like 18, I think, 18 or 19. But it was $2,000. It was like the best MacBook you could get. And I was already doing media work. I was already doing journalistic work, so I needed a powerful MacBook. And I was going into the journalism school at University of Missouri. So I needed a powerful MacBook to do editing and stuff on. So that was like a top of the line deal. I mean, that was like a top of the line deal to get a $2,000 MacBook. That would have been 2008. 2008, and it was $2,000 for the top of the line. Now it's 10 grand. And I don't think this issue is going away anytime soon. I feel like the price of electronics is going to, and this is one where it's been like electronics have kind of been steadily cheap because of the competition, and they've been able to manufacture this stuff out of the East at such a rapid rate. Electronics have kind of remained like, okay, these things are still kind of affordable. Laptops, TVs. I don't know how much longer that lasts. Act accordingly. But then there's this issue. So Grand Theft Auto 6, I guess, is the next big, it's the next big Grand Theft Auto game. And they've been trying to get this thing done forever. And I guess, I don't know if this is just the latest tease or if they're actually doing it, but they've done pre-orders. I'm going to tell you what happened with me. But so GTA 6 also comes with a sneaky little $8 a month subscription hidden in the fine print. So they always do this. They always do this. Why do these new video game companies do this? And this is why I think the Steam system is going to take off. Because many of you may have experienced this. If you play video games at all now, they have all of these microtransactions. And this is how bad it actually is. They do this deal right now because the World Cup is going on. And if you go out and get a digital copy of FIFA, it's like $10. So it's like 80% off the latest FIFA game right now for the World Cup. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go install that on my Switch. So I go install, it's like $10 when it's normally like 60 or something. I think that's what it was. So I go install the new FIFA game. It's 80% off. So I install it on my Switch. I'm like, okay, let me give it. I want to go play it. I can't even play the game. You have to have an EA Sports account, and I'm done. I'm like, I'm out. What are you doing to me? Is this how it is now? Is this what the kids have to do to play a video game? You can't even just plug it in and play? Who remembers the good old days where you plugged a game in and then you played? Now you plug a game in, you got to buy one subscription, you got to buy a second subscription, you got to have two different logins, you got to have a microtransaction, so you got to give them your credit card number, and then you can play the game. It's just a miserable experience. And that's why I think the Steam system is going to take off, because you can play the old games. You don't need any of this garbage. You just click a button and you play. It's insane. It's insane that they do this. And kids, considering that kids Young people are your target demographic. Where are they? They don't have any money. I remember I had to save up for months. I don't even remember. I was cutting lawns. I was doing anything I could. I had to save up for months to buy a Nintendo 64, and it was used, and I think it was like 2 games. So I don't know how many lawns. I got a couple of controllers, an N64, and a couple of games. It was like Mario Party, Super Mario, whatever. And it was like $200 or something. But it was like, okay, that's what you had to do as a kid. You save up some money for a couple months, you can go buy a console and you can get your games. Now it's just like an ongoing process. Now you need $9 a month to just run the system. Now you need $5 a month to play every other game. The system's $600. The games are $70. Who affords this crap? Can kids afford this crap? How long does it take a kid to save up to get $1,000 to play his video game system? Make America great again. Make video games great again. Who will save the video game world? All right. Let's take our final break of the show. I got a couple other things coming up. Super Chat's coming up. We'll see if we have if we have enough time for some phone calls today. Let's see how long it takes to get through the rest of the news. Short break. We'll be right back on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting assaulted. You go to the pool. It's even worse if you're on like a natural body of water, like a lake or something. Or we've got the springs here in Austin. Barton Springs, very popular place to go swimming. I feel like I'm getting assaulted. I feel like it's an environmental assault when they do these spray sunscreens. Have you ever had this? They spray these sunscreens and then you just get raped by it. And then they go jump in the spring, they go jump in the lake, and you see it's like the oil, the scuzz. Ugh. Stop assaulting me. All right, we got some World Cup stuff. What in the hell is this? World Cup official cleared by FIFA and says gesture was a subconscious twitch. Evans had been accused of a white supremacist hand gesture, but he says the movement was an involuntary spasm, a subconscious switch. Here it is, guys. This was the controversy that had to get investigated by FIFA. He does the A-OK sign, and he says he did it intentionally. But now, of course, that means they say that means white power. Most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life. But there it is. He's cleared, guys. He's good. He's good. All right. Where are MAGA conservatives at on this. So there was a game. It's I believe the game is concluded, or actually it might be starting next. It might be coming up here in a minute. The Iran Football Federation wants FIFA to prevent any ceremonies or promotional activities in support of the LGBTQ plus community at a much discussed pride match between Egypt and Iran on Friday in Seattle. Whoa. So MAGA that complains about all the pride stuff at football games and baseball games and everything else, MAGA is now complaining because Iran wants to get rid of the pride events. Now, folks, I don't even know. It's like this thing is so rich. I've told you this before. And look, politics is complex. So, you make your own decisions. But I'm telling you, in Iran, basically what America is doing in Iran is leftist. It's liberal. The right-wing Iranians, the conservative Iranians support the regime and are anti all of the garbage that MAGA is anti, including LGBTQ plus propaganda. So MAGA is more pro-LGBTQ than Iran, the regime that they're trying to take down, even though MAGA will tell you they're anti-LGBTQ plus. Like I'm saying, it's all fake. You're all frauds. You're all fake. You stand for nothing. You don't mean anything you say. And this should be the moment where you realize it's like, wait a second. Maybe things are a little more complex than I'm being told in the media. So Iran now has MAGA supporting gay pride night at a World Cup soccer game. That's where you're at, guys. MAGA now wants LGBTQ plus propaganda at a soccer game because Iran is trying to ban it. Wow. Okay. Have fun with that one. Here's a cool story. The Netherlands in 1994 had a player named Erik Thorstvedt, another player named Alphonse Holland, and a third player named Goran Sorloth. That was in 1994. In 2026, all three of their sons are also playing in the World Cup on the Norwegian national team. Christian Thorstvedt, Erling Haaland, and Alexander Sorloth. Very cool. And I actually, I think Norway is a serious contender this year. And it's funny because France, I think Norway is going to have to play France a second time. France whooped Norway bad today, but that was kind of an exhibition match. They didn't, neither of those teams really needed to win. So France put the beat down on them. I don't really think that means anything. When you look at the bracket for this World Cup, it kind of makes you think that maybe the thing was rigged, if I'm being honest. And maybe as Americans, we shouldn't complain because it looks like it might have been rigged in our favor. But you never really know who's going to be great in a World Cup and who might fall flat. But it looks like Norway and France could collide again in the knockout phase before America really plays any powerhouse. And it looks like the United States of America is first going to have to go through Bosnia, Herzegovina, and then probably Japan is what it looks like right now. Those are winnable games. So last night's loss, don't get too upset about it. Here's what happened. The U.S. came out and looked great and played to win. But the problem was they could not sustain that for 90 minutes because Turkey decided that they also wanted to play to win, and Turkey had nothing to lose. Turkey enters last night's game with nothing to lose, and the United States of America enters last night's game with everything to lose. And so eventually that psychology is going to take over what happens. And so Turkey said, hey, all we have to do is go out there and start beating them up. All we have to do is go out there and play a physical match, and they won't be able to play with us because they can't play that game because they're into the knockout round. So Turkey was smart and good for the Turkey fans. They got to experience a victory, and so that's fun for them. Didn't really impact the U.S. I don't think it hurts them moving into the knockout stage. Maybe a loss even helps them. Having the team healthy is probably more important. So I'm not too upset. I'm not too worried about losing to Turkey in a game where you didn't even have your starters and you had everything to lose. Don't think Bosnia-Herzegovina is going to be a pushover, though. Don't think that that's going to be a pushover game. Even though they're not a powerhouse, they're going to see Bosnia-Herzegovina is now playing with confidence and playing their best soccer, where the U.S. after a loss is going to kind of have to find that stride again. So that could take a half. I do anticipate America will be favored maybe by a goal or a goal and a half. But don't think Bosnia is going to be a pushover. And then if they end up being matched up with Japan, that could be a tough matchup. That could be a tough matchup that's going to end up being all about pace of play. And if America can slow it down and keep the pace of play, I think that they can win if they maintain possession. But if Japan is able to speed it up and run up and down, that could become a problem. So it's going to be fun. But 2 matches you can win. 2 matches, it looks like the U.S. can get to the Elite Eight. And yes, I'm calling it that. I'm calling it that now that they've expanded the field. I'm calling it the Elite Eight. I think the U.S. could get to the Elite Eight in a matchup with Spain, is what it looks like to me, is America can get to the Elite Eight in a matchup with Spain. And then that will be the real big test. That will be the real test of, can you compete in an international competition against an international powerhouse? Getting through Bosnia or Japan or whoever else, it's like Senegal or something, that's not going to prove too much. It'll be nice for us to get there and win those games, but it's not going to prove too much. So, but it'll be fun. I think they can make a run at this. I think it's going to be fun. The next game is in Santa Clara, I think on Wednesday. So that's going to be a wild atmosphere. I will say this. Whatever they have done to that field in Santa Clara, they better fix it, because that field is a disaster. The footing on that field is a nightmare. And multiple people almost got injured in the last game that was played on that turf. So they better figure out what's wrong with that field, because that is a joke. That is a joke that these players have to deal with that. Hey, have you guys ever experienced this? I'm just curious. When the X just blacks out my stream. Have you guys ever seen this? Somebody shared this yesterday, Natalie here. Yeah, it happens all the time, guys. Unfortunately, whatever's going on X, that's why I asked. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. We can grow there. The audience is good there. We are growing there. That's where we read our super chats. And it's just, we can't grow. Whatever goes on X, guys, I don't know what it is. This is why I ask you to follow the show on YouTube. Please follow the Owen Report on YouTube, because you never know what's going to happen on X. We always are on Rumble too. Rumble.com/Owen. Very reliable there as well. Okay, what do we want to do? What else do we have here? Alex Brushewitz exposing Aaron Wexler. Alex Brushewitz exposing Ayel Jacoby. Yeah, I think we get that. Oh, did you hear about this? Mass amounts of Americans are calling for the courts to be purged as San Francisco leftist judge Linda Colfax is of early life Middle East, released a criminal who fatally assaulted an 84-year-old because she was worried prison would have a poor impact on me. So this is a man that should be probably in jail for life. Why would we want this man back out on the streets who would randomly assault an 84-year-old man? Why would anybody put this man back on the streets? Well, this judge decided that that was a good thing. And old Linda, she actually got an award. She got an award last year from the gay bar. I'm not even kidding you, from the LGBTQ plus bar. Her and her staff got the Bayleaf Bar Award. So I guess that's what it takes. Oh, incredible work putting criminals back on the streets. And she gets the LGBTQ plus IA award for legal work in California. Nicely done, guys. Well done. Oh, did you see Alan Dershowitz the other day getting heckled at his book event and threatening to sue everybody there? Oh, talk about stereotypes. How about this one? You guys know I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan. You know I'm limping with the biscuit. You know I did it all for the nookie. Have you ever heard about the Limp Bizkit Woodstock theory? Limp Bizkit performed Break Stuff at Woodstock in 1999, and the young white male crowd erupted into riots, fires, and chaos. The elite saw firsthand the dangerous mobilizing power of an angry new metal music on white men. They didn't like the possibilities that the white man could rise up full of anger. They had to stop us before we realized ourselves what we could actually do together. They responded by pulling back support for those bands in the 2000s. The music industry shifted heavily towards promoting rappers and hip hop. The goal was clear: stop white male anger and prevent it from rising up against the system. Rock was deliberately sidelined. This was cultural control. You know, I don't know if I agree with everything in that statement, but there are things that are just factually true as far as the results are concerned. And that is, it was about, I always say, if you could pick 10 years to choose from that you get to listen to music, I would always choose 1994 to 2004. That's what I would choose. If I had to choose a window of 10 years, I'd choose, that's the only music you can listen to. I would choose 1994 to 2004. And that's what happened. It's like, if you remember, all of these like kind of grunge, new metal sounds were coming up through the radio. They were coming up on MTV, VH1. It's like, that's the music that was popular. And then all of a sudden they just killed it. And they all stopped getting played on the radio. They all stopped having their album tours, getting promoted. And then eventually they realized the industry was against them. And so they just stopped making music. And that's when some of the gangster hip hop that now has just turned into like demonic grunting started to get popularized. So the result is true. Whether you think it was an agenda or not, that was the result. And then there was this from study finds. I think we all kind of saw this, that have lived it. Pop songs have grown more immoral and meaner over the past 60 years. You know, here's what I realized. You know, it's always going to be the old heads not liking the younger kids' music. But this to me is just observably true. And I'm always talking about Sirius XM radio, because I'm just listening to the radio all the time. But they have, if you have Sirius XM, you know this. They have stations that are dedicated to different decades of music. So two of my favorite stations, if I'm listening to music on a Sirius XM, are 90s and Pop 2K. So it's 90s on 9 and Pop 2K are the stations if you want to listen to these. And here's what you notice after listening to these things for a minute. And even in those two decades, you can kind of pick up on it. It's very subtle. Like, it's only a couple degrees of percentage. But then it's like you get into the 2010s and the 2020s, it's like now it's radically different. But it's easily observable if you go through the decades. And the two things that I notice, if you listen to the music, more specifically in the 90s, but even to an extent the 2000s, there's two things that I notice. One, you know, songs used to actually be about like real human emotions and experiences. Like the popular songs were about real human struggles, real human pursuits, whether it's, you know, love, addiction, pain, success, and it was all relatable. It's like you could listen to those songs and it wasn't demeaning. It was uplifting. It was relatable, but there was always like, it was about love, or it was about an experience. It was about something real that people could hold on to, and it meant something to them. They could relate to it. I don't even think it exists anymore. And I know everything has kind of changed because terrestrial radio has kind of gone away and everybody listens to their own thing online. But it's like that's the music people used to write. You listen to pop music now, you listen to the music that gets mainstream now, it's all about like debauchery and smut and filth and scumbaggery. It's like you didn't really get that in the 90s and 2000s, not to the degree you do today. So that will really stick out. The other thing that sticks out is the sound. It's like even the sound was fun. The sound was uplifting. The sound was like motivational. The sound of the pop music and the mainstream music now, it's depressing, it's dark, it's demonic. I mean, these things are noticeably palpable. It's like undeniable when you listen to this. You can't help but notice these two things. So the only question is, was it done intentionally? Was it done intentionally, or is this just something that happened naturally? But that's what it is. All right. But speaking of that, So I told you earlier this week that I've been, for the first time ever, I was scrolling Instagram and I found some funny stuff. I wanted to share this one with you guys. Oh man, where did I put it? Hope I didn't lose it. Yeah, here it is. So this is the kind of stuff, I guess, that I can't believe nobody's put this on X, and I would do it myself, except, X will punish you for it if you take somebody else's work off of Instagram or something and post it on X. Unless you're libs of TikTok, I guess, then it's okay. But I was surprised nobody has moved this over to X yet. There's an Instagram account called the AI Jukebox, and they basically take old, fun cartoon characters and they have them perform popular music. I found this one hilarious. I thought this one was too good not to share. This is what is being referred to as Plankton Park. Plankton Park. And, you're listening to this and you're kind of like, you're trottling on. And then it just hits, guys. And then it just hits. I thought this is one of the funniest things that I've ever seen online. I couldn't help it. If you're a fan of SpongeBob and Linkin Park, you're going to get a good laugh out of Plankton Park. No idea that Plankton and Mr. Krabs had it like that. You had no idea. Be honest. When Plankton hit, you were not, it moved you. I was moved. I was genuinely moved when Plankton hit the vocal like that. We need more Plankton Park. I'd move it. I'd post it on X, but X doesn't like when you do that, so I'm not going to do it. That's from the Real Jukebox on Instagram. And I think they've done 2 or 3 Plankton Park videos. One of them, that one had Patrick playing the guitar. There's another one that has SpongeBob on the guitar. It's hilarious. So if you thought that was funny, there's a couple other ones there. You know what? I skipped over this. There was a hilarious moment. There's a hilarious moment in a World Cup broadcast. This is genius broadcasting right here. The England national team is playing in Massachusetts, okay? England in Massachusetts. Listen to what the announcer says.
Ghana have never beaten England. It would be a huge shock, but as we know, the English historically struggle here in Massachusetts.
As we know, the English historically struggle here in Massachusetts. That is funny. That is funny. Brilliant moment I wanted to share. All right, let's do this. Let me see if I can get through this. I want to do this because let's get ahead of the curve here. This poll, I call it a poll, I guess. It's a political compass. 2020's political compass by Brit Monkey. People always do these political tests, and then it tells you where you're at. I think this is the best one I've ever seen, and that's why I wanted to do it. I think we can do it in 10 or 20 minutes and still have time for all your super chats. So we'll do them both here. So this is the 2020's political compass. Let's see, guys, where do you think I end up? All right, here we go. Trans women are women and trans men are men. All right, strongly disagree. How many genders are there? 2. 2, and transgenderism is a mental illness. I'm going to go with that. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people. I got to say, normally I wouldn't have said this, but if you look up the definition of genocide, it is exactly what Israel is doing. So I would say at this point, I have to say I agree. I probably would have said I don't know a month or so ago, but if you look up what is considered genocide and then you look at what Israel is doing, it's kind of definitively genocide. I mean, it's by definition. So if you want to try to massage that and say, oh, it's not, Israel's the good guys, they had to do it, well, then that's fine. You're just justifying genocide. Because by definition, it is. By definition. I think alternative girls are, I don't even know what that means. I'm not sure what that means. So I want to say no opinion here. It's wrong to objectify women in political. What are alternative girls? I have to ask the chat. Guys, what are alternative girls? I don't know. I'm going to go with that because I think it's funny. I support affirmative action programs to fix systemic injustices in society. I'm going to disagree. Hate speech is free speech. Strongly agree. My country requires a mass deportation of most, if not all, immigrants. Now, I think they need to fix this. This should say illegal, right? Because you can't deport immigrants. Those are citizens. We're not talking about deporting people that are citizens. So I'm afraid that this will screw up. Somebody tell whoever made this. Somebody tell Brit Monkey they need to correct this. See, again, the editor in me is coming out. But this should have been an obvious one. So should I answer it assuming they mean illegal immigrants? I think so. And I'm going to say I agree. In today's society, women have it easier than men. I mean, don't they kind of always, though? I'm not too heavy. I'm between neutral and agree. But I mean, they always do. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I support that. So I'm going to go agree. I'm okay with that, by the way. I think women should have it easier than men, but that doesn't mean things should be rigged against men. That should be organic. Men should want easier life for women. So I would say it's good that women have an easier life, but it's bad that the thing is rigged against men. The primary cause of crime is poverty and deprivation. I mean, that's kind of statistically true, I would say. So, I mean, I think that you have to agree with that. How many answers, by the way, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are screaming at some of these answers, so that one's fun. There are too many crackheads on public transport. Well, I mean, yeah, like one is too many. Homeschooling should be banned. Who would agree with that? Forced diversity in media has gone too far. Strongly agree. It's even worse in the sports world. My country should pay reparations to the descendants of people we have wronged in the past. I'm going to go disagree. J.K. Rowling is. I'm going to go with this one, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. She's a British culture and defender of women's rights. I like that. Okay. Oversimplified minimalist brand logos have gone too far. I agree. I'm almost who cares, but I agree. Sex work is real work. I don't want anything. I'm neutral. I don't know. Tech Bro versus Neo Luddite. Oh, here we go. I have used Chat GPT. Never. I don't think I've ever used it or similar. Yeah, I've never. Nope. I'm a 0. Ozempic and similar GLP-1 drugs are miracle. I don't know. Letting people cheat. I'm going to go with this. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I think that the reason why I say cheat is because you're costing yourself something. You're paying with something. So there is a transaction that you're making, and it is cheating the organic way of doing it. Because you could say a useful medicine, but it's doing harm, I think. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are, I'm between these two. A form of gambling and completely useless. It could have been a useful tool, but it's not. It's just simply not. Gambling or useless? I'm going to go gambling. It's not totally useless. NFTs are nothing, dumb. Yeah, there we go. I mean, okay. Generative AI. Making society worse. Were you vaccinated for COVID-19? All vaccines are poisons. Where am I at here? Didn't get vaxxed for COVID. All vaccines are poisons. I mean, that's kind of a leap, really. That's quite a gap between these two. All vaccines are poison. Do I want to go there, guys? I guess so. But this one is true. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think all vaccines. Is it all vaccines? This one is tough, guys. But I'm non-vaccinated, so I'm going to go there. Humanity needs to reduce our overall energy consumption to protect the ecosystem. I disagree. Lab-grown meat is disgusting. I don't know if it should be illegal. But it's probably not as good as real meat. I mean, it's definitely not as good as real meat. So can't really, got to go far right on that. I would take a drug that slows or stops the aging process. Yeah. I mean, drug, though, I don't like, it's like you do stuff every day that stops the aging process. You take supplements, you exercise. So I don't like the way it's phrased, but why wouldn't you want to stop the aging process? You'd be crazy not to. AI robots will be doing most, if not all, human jobs within 10 years. I disagree, but it's going to be a problem. We should not be spending billions on space travel when there are people starving here on Earth. Well, I don't like the way that's presented. I disagree. I consume porno. Never. I support building more nuclear energy plants. Strongly agree. AI automation should not come at the expense of jobs and livelihoods. I agree, but it's kind of against the free market. What do I want to do here? I'm going to go neutral. I'm going to go neutral. I don't want it to. I don't know. That's tough. I'm going to go neutral. Prediction markets are just gambling. Air conditioning is. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to go essential. Definitely. Hope-filled versus doomer. There's no point in planning for the future because climate change will ruin the planet in the next few decades anyway. Strongly disagree. The only way you can truly be safe and secure in the modern day is by being rich. Yeah, that's kind of true. I got to agree. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean being financially rich. Maybe you're rich in friends and family, a support group, but yeah, you better be rich or have a lot of money. I trust the mainstream news outlets are telling the truth. Strongly disagree. The best days of my country are behind it. Ooh. That one's tough. I'm going neutral. That one's too hard. I get too hung up on it. We are not being told the truth about history. Strongly agree. Voting achieves nothing. Nothing? I don't like that word nothing. So I'm going to say disagree just because I don't like that word nothing. I like Donald Trump. Oh, boy. I'm going to have to disagree. Looting is a legitimate form of political expression. Strongly disagree. An elite group of people have a secret plan to introduce totalitarian government. Strongly agree. It is funny when people with crappy political views die. I'm neutral. I don't want to even comment. Incremental progress is a better way to achieve goals than demanding immediate radical change. Disagree. Shoplifting, piracy, and fare hopping is usually wrong. Maybe always wrong. Usually wrong? Always wrong? Yeah. It is a bad thing that multi-billionaires exist. Strongly disagree. The digital nomad lifestyle is appealing to me. I don't even know. Neutral. GDP is a bad metric for measuring a country's prosperity. Disagree. I would fight and die for my tribe. Agree. Davos versus Dubai. The system of government pursued by China is one that we should emulate. Disagree. I'm not going to. China does something better than. China does some things better than us. We kind of have to admit it now, guys. But I disagree. Western countries want to keep global South countries poor. Neutral. Import tariffs are necessary to protect jobs and wealth. Disagree. If I could, I would overturn an election result that I didn't like. I think you need a little more detail though. So I'm going to go disagree and not strongly disagree. But if it's a stolen election, then yeah. So that one needs a little reframing. I need to talk to this person. I think this polling could be a little better directionally. How much more do we have here? Good Lord, how many questions is this? Who do you guys think I'm going to get? It gives you a political personality. Once my political view obtain power, once people of my political view obtain power, we should make it harder for the public to vote us out. Strongly disagree. I would surrender my right to vote in exchange for a guaranteed high standard of living. I don't think anything is guaranteed. Strongly disagree. If my country is going to accept immigrants, they should primarily be doing work that native citizens do not want to do. That's a weird question. I guess I disagree. I support the death penalty. I think I agree. I honestly, I fluctuate on this, to be honest. I fluctuate on this one. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree. So I'm going to stay neutral then. Online content that conflicts with my values should be blocked. Huh? No. Broadcast media should not question the government's decisions. Ha! That's funny. Certain ethnic, religious, or social groups should be given preferential treatment. Disagree. When my country should be incentivized to have, women should be incentivized to have more children. I would agree, but I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like the presentation here is that there should be some sort of like a government incentive, and I don't really like that. So I do think there's already a natural incentive to have children, but I don't think it should be. I'm going to go neutral. Having human rights means nothing if you are poor and starving. Strongly disagree. Having rights is important no matter what. Some people must die in order for my political ideals to be implemented. Whoa. Oh boy. This is a trap. Now that's funny because, we know we know there are some people that would say this and this. I'm not like that. I'm going to go disagree. Yeah. That's a heavy one. That's a heavy one right there. Man, they really throw that one out you. It's like you need a little more. These things have gray area. It is none of our business what another country does within its own borders. None of our business? I'm between neutral and disagree. I don't think it's none of our business. Doesn't mean we have any, rights to go in there and change it, but none of our business. Maybe it's some of our business. I'm going to go disagree. But again, there's gray area there. That's why it's like, well, I'm not saying we should do anything necessarily, but that's not what it's asking. So I think, we should we should not partake in international agreements that force us to reduce our CO2 emissions until we are ready. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to agree because that's globalism. All right, guys, what do you think? Who do you think it's going to put up a political individual? Who do you think I got? Let's see. I'm 72% Chud, 62% Neo-Luddite. I'm more hope-pilled than doomer. Ha! How do you like that one? And I am a Davos over Dubai. I'm Giorgia Meloni. I think that fits. The blonde hair. There it is. We're cousins now. We're political cousins now. The Prime Minister of Italy. I bet most people get Giorgia Meloni. She seems to be the most well-rounded out there. So there you go. All right, let's go to our super chats as we do at the end of every transmission. Again, thanks to everybody who subscribes and follows on YouTube. Guys, please go give us a follow and a like on YouTube at the Owen Report. And at the end of every show, we do our super chats from YouTube. Leading us off today, La Bellissima. Owen, love the hair. This lighter blonde suits you and your aesthetic so well. It's giving the Colossus of Rhodes. Thank you. Very kind. And by the way, I'm phoning it in. I'm not even trying yet, guys. I'm not even trying yet. Don't be surprised if some other things happen before you see me again. Is it any wonder why boomers side with the J? They get everything they wanted at the expense of every generation to follow. I think it's more about propaganda, but that weighs into it for sure. Reward factor. All rise for me 99. This must be a Yankees fan. The U.S. Constitution doesn't need to be rewritten, just reread and enforced. That's why the schools don't teach cursive anymore. Golden Goy. Love you, Owen. Well, I'm very grateful, and I thank my parents for the education I got because I learned cursive. I can still write cursive and read cursive. And the high school I went to, you could not graduate unless you got a 100% on the Bill of Rights test and the Constitution test. Those are two different tests. Bill of Rights test was only 10 questions. The Constitution test was 100 questions. Actually, the Bill of Rights test might have been 20 questions. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was either 10 or 20. And then the Constitution test with 100 questions. You had to get a 100%. 100%. Huntington Beach. Happy birthday, Owen. Thank you. Early birthday for me. Sunday's my actual birthday. I turned 27. Ha! I wish. 37 on Sunday. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Patrick Bateman doesn't like when steal his fire starters. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, Owen. Thank you, Ivan. Birthday wishes coming in now. Now there's going to be even more of them. When I look at my pay stub, I'm wondering when the government works half my work week. Tax to death. Yeah. You're already in a socialist country. Dr. Phil Schroyer. And Trump says we need housing prices to go up to save the boomers. It's a nightmare out there. Honestly, I don't know if I've said this before, but I feel like the solution here is you need to, and I've never heard about this. I don't know why it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't, Trump should do it. I mean, I've been in the housing market. Nobody's ever suggested this to me. To me, the way you fix this, if you're looking for the easiest solution to a huge problem, a very complex problem with a bunch of different factors, you need to make mortgages transferable. So it's like if you have let's say you buy a $500,000 house and you sign the mortgage and you got everything signed and you've lived in this house for 5 to 10 years and you've got your mortgage and you got your interest rate and everything else. If you can go out and find a house for $500,000, you should be able to transfer that mortgage. You should not have to sacrifice an agreement that you already made for an exact amount of money to move. To me, that's the solution, because now you're saving people are not going to lose the value of their house. The market price will virtually remain the same, but you allow people that already own a home or have already gotten into home ownership and a mortgage to kind of have a little versatility there. And it's like you don't have to go through the process again and get dinged again and pay all the down again and then get a higher interest rate. That's what crushes people. That's what's crushing the market. If you could find a way to make mortgages transferable, I think that'd be the one way that you could actually save this. It'd be the one simple way. And I don't know if that's simple, but I feel like that's the way to go. And why wouldn't why is that even such a problem? If the bank already agreed with you for a rate on a value of money, why wouldn't they just carry that over? I don't understand. It's because everybody has to rape you financially. That's why. DeSantis has been so based. It has to be an op. Well, I think he's been the best governor, but until he cuts those taxes, I'm going to be hassling him. Heard you dyed your hair blonde and going to start working the streets, but you should just do escorting. It's safer and slightly more dignified than street walking. Looking out for you, bro. Thank you, bud. Thank you. It's a nice suggestion. I'd probably make a killing, but I'm not into it. Happy 37th from Tay-Tay. Thank you, Tay-Tay. Appreciate that. And, you got Yay. You got the double Yay show. You got the double Yay show this weekend. Enjoy. Have fun. Let us know how it goes. Kick type. Sup, Owen? How about them Bosnians? As a Bosnian Muslim, you and I are the same, as most of us agree with your logic. I'm from Srebrenica. Srebrenica? I hope I'm getting that right. Where the genocide happened, mostly family killed, 8,372 in total. Well, the history textbooks here don't really teach any other genocide except one, and that's World War II. So there's a lot of brainwashing that happens there. But I appreciate that. And we're going to have some fun. I think the game is Wednesday, right? I think the U.S.-Bosnia game is Wednesday. So that's going to be a fun one. That'll be fun. And it's going to be a tough one. It is going to be tough. I think the U.S. will be slight favorites. Hey, babe. This administration is in this so deep, Reagan wouldn't be able to fix it. Well, no one's trying to fix it. So there you go. Religious liberty findings. Israel is our greatest ally. That is all. True. That is really all that matters. John Franzen. Owen, switching your topic to Ukraine after discussing the Israel-Rubio connection with Brondo sprinkled in. Why is Russia bad? Because they invaded Ukraine. Why is Israel good? Because they invaded Lebanon. Oh, John, see, you're doing this thing called logical consistency. And isn't it great, John? Because when you try to apply logical consistency, you can easily find where the propaganda is. And that's what you have just done, John. Well done. Auto industry needs to collapse after what they did during COVID. Well, now the cars are going to be used as spy devices too. So, maybe that'll bail them out. People's thoughts on ivermectin and febendazole is an IQ test. Yeah, or maybe something else. Ivermectin bad, glyphosate good. MAGA, baby. Oh, yeah, that's the juxtaposition. We saw it today. Trump has come full mask off on his war against the middle class. It's bad, isn't it? Wolfie, my wife just saw your hair. She's disappointed that you like men. You want to put that to the test? You want to let your wife go out on a date with me? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Let's see, Wolfie. Let's just see if you're so sure. I think he's good. I think it's a joke, but go ahead. Go ahead. Dust Vault globalism, not Americanism, will be our credo. Well, that's what it's turned into. Kevin Huntsey. Breaking news. Candace Owens just released new photos of broken glass of road mic. I didn't even get into that because I don't know if that really proves anything, to be honest. But yes, you can see a shattered road mic. I believe that's from the vehicle, right? There's a shattered road mic. You can clearly see a shattered road mic in the vehicle on the ground, 100%. And now there's a new shot of his chest, and it looks like there was an impact on his chest. But, again, I'm not so sure these things prove anything. There's alternatives like maybe the mic fell off and somebody in the car stomped on it. So I don't know if those prove anything really, but that is some interesting evidence that has come out. I don't know. I just don't know if it's evidence of anything. Bayer is in Germany too. Well, that's because they bought Monsanto a few years back though, right? Monsanto used to be headquartered in St. Louis, and then Bayer purchased Monsanto about 5-10 years ago, I think it was. Oil of oregano, great for parasites as well. And helps you flush out other stuff too. Thanks for your service, Thank you, Calio. Thank you. It's the seed oils, people eat them, that make you burn. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Black Cube Data Center. I know, right? I don't think they meant it that, but yeah, it's a giant eyesore. Hey, Goldilocks, the only Bible to rely on is the King James Version. Every other one is made to contradict God's spoken word. That's why I mentioned the Blue Letter Bible Concordance. Goldilocks, huh? That's pretty good. What do you guys think? Doesn't it look better today, though? I think it does. The Farm Girl. 1, people in other countries take over-the-counter anti-parasitic pills once a year. Yes, it's foreign here. 2, wind carries glyphosate from my neighbor's field into my yard and fries off the tips of my evergreens. Yeah, there have been lawsuits about that, actually. And then even Monsanto was actually involved in one where they actually sued. They were spreading something. I think it was seeds. I can't remember if it was Monsanto GMO seeds or something else, but they were spreading seeds in a field and the wind carried them to a different field. And then they sued that other field. And I think they won too. So that was a weird one. So there's a little legal precedent there if you want to look into that. Try and take all our water and 1776 will commence again. All of it. Look up Chuck Misler, a USA intelligence decoder who studied the King James Version and explains how no human can coordinate to write such a perfectly written book. Well, some human did have to write it, but you're saying it was inspired by God. Totally agree with you about Charlie. Anna. Did you hear what Netanyahu said about Jesus Christ? We ought to note that Genghis Khan was a flash in the pan, but the teachings of Jesus Christ built an entire civilization. God bless. We covered some of that. We didn't cover Netanyahu directly. He pretends to be friends with Christians. He's not. He pretends to care about Christians. They don't. They're destroying Christian sites all over the Middle East right now. So don't be so naive if you think Netanyahu is a friend of Christians. Coolio James, why no coverage of Henry Nowak? Whites targeted. Well, that was a European story. I did mention that once, but I didn't go too much into it. You know, if it was in America, maybe. Tay Buick Envision, made in China. Bide city buses in Florida. So, the Chinese buses are in Florida already? Do people still ride the bus? Nobody really rides the bus in Austin. I used to ride the bus in St. Louis for a couple years. Some foot traffic on there. I don't really see it at all. But you guys already have Chinese buses in Florida, huh? Wouldn't be the first time they lied about box cutters. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. All right, have a laugh. Have a laugh. Owen Schroyer's boyfriend. Owen, your hair looks like a janitor's piss mop. That's good. All right. That's a good one. Sometimes you had to blow off the cartridge. Ken Rose, thank you. Jose Montenegro, I heard the spray-on sunscreen is even worse. Oh, yeah, because you inhale it. So it's not just getting on your skin. You also inhale it. It's a disaster. I hate it when there people are. I make sure to show visible frustration. I don't direct it or I don't get confrontational. But I make sure that people know if you spray that crap around me, I show visual frustration. I'll start coughing and it's just like, it's gross. Gonna have to change it to here you go.
Back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
Yeah, but that one is a classic. The Blondie one, that's a new one. Oh, and don't you know, kids don't need money for video games anymore. They just tantrum and their lazy parents just cave in and buy it for them. Really? Is that true? I've not heard it. I don't know. I'm genuinely curious. Maybe we'll find out. Yeah. Happy MAGA Pride, bro. Great show, man. Mid to late 90s in 64 days were gold. Steam is my preferred platform. Cautious for GTAVI. Is that the new one? Control Resonant looks cool. First one is perfect. Steam is going to change the game. And that's going to be mostly why, because they're going to allow you to get a game and play it. Unlike these new systems where you get a game and you have to go through hoops and ladders just to play it. It's obnoxious. Kearney, thank you. Why does Mr. Krabs live in Bikini Bottom? Yeah, there's all those SpongeBob conspiracy theorists. Don't bring that on me. Don't bring that here. I don't want it. Or maybe you got a joke that I haven't heard, but have you seen those conspiracy theories? Oh, and have a great birthday this weekend, man. Thanks for everything we do. Well, thank you, Billy. Thank you. WGT Golf is hella fun. WGT Golf. I don't think I know that one. Mario Golf. N64 Mario Golf was the peak of golfing video games, and that's really all you need. Alternative girls have tats and piercings. What did I answer to that one? I don't really think that is going to impact the polling too much. I'm not really into it. I'm not really against it, but it's not like some guys that they like, it's a turn on for them. It's not really a turn on for me. If anything, I probably don't like it, but it's not a make or break necessarily, I guess. Owen looking like the one Bee Gees singer, Pittsburgh bag. Well, I did before. Now I look like something else. The word on the street is that Elliot Page is backing out of her role as Achilles in Odyssey. Now, I'm not sure I buy any of this, honestly. I don't even think it makes sense because aren't they filming right now or done filming even? So who knows what's really going on with that? But I'm ready. I am ready to be Achilles in Odyssey. If they need me, I'm ready to step in. It'll be seamless. Hey again. Thank you. Hi. Happy birthday, brother. Thank you for all you do. Let those Goldie locks flow. I feel old, I have to tell you. 37 just feels, it just sounds old, you know? I have to do the cold plunge at least 2-3 times a week now, or the knees and the shoulders. It's like, ugh. I saw a sea turtle when I was parasailing, made me homesick. Well, that sounds fun, though. It's a pretty cool sight. Happy birthday, Owen. Thanks for putting up with all my BS. Oh, well, thank you putting up with me. Mine, too. And you know we like to have fun here, so it's all good. Why do you hate me? Oh, my gosh. Hi. This is what happens, man. And she was complaining about the hair. And look at her simping now. It's nice. Thank you, wifey. HBD Schroyer Khan. All right. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to do it. Do you have blue eyes? Do you have white skin? Maybe we should do it. Have a good weekend, everyone. W week, W chat. And finishing us off, Justin Clearwater. Happy birthday. You need a hammer like Thor's. Cheers, brother. Ooh. We'll do some cosplay. But Thor has a beard, so I'd have to keep the beard to do Thor. I'd have to get rid of the beard to do Achilles. I'd have to get rid of the beard to do Dolph Ziggler. Who else is there? That's like the list that I know of. But Thor's hair is like straight, isn't it? I've never seen those movies. Isn't Thor's hair straight? Mine is, as you can see, it's wavy and curly. So I don't know if the Thor one really works. But that's funny. I'll do a whole show. That's what we'll do. We'll just start doing shows as different characters. Why not? Or maybe I'll go out. Maybe I'll go out and do Man on the Streets as different characters. That'd be probably pretty funny, wouldn't it? People get a kick out of that one. All right, guys. All right. Now I'm just looking at the other chats. The last chance, guys. Last chance to give me a birthday wish. This is it. Now or never. I'll never forgive you if you don't do it. I'll never forgive and I'll never forget if I don't get that birthday wish from you before I sign off. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ezo. You too. Have a great weekend, guys. That's going to do it. That's going to do it, guys. Had a lot of fun with you guys this week. Here's what I ask. I don't ask for anything. I'm not asking for anything for my birthday. My only ask is that you have a great weekend. That's what I want for my birthday. I want you to have a great weekend. That's my only birthday wish. You hear this? Have a great weekend. God bless. Godspeed. We'll see you next Monday.